Hello and welcome to session 3 of the Global Sources Virtual Summit for Online Sellers, April 2021. I'm your host, Megla Bhardwaj, and if you joined us yesterday, you know that we've been going for a day now, and today is the second day of the summit. So we're here talking about what's working now in Amazon and e-commerce. If you're an Amazon seller, an online seller, or if you're a brand retailer or a brick and mortar who's interested in selling their brands online, then you should definitely join us for this summit because we have over 15 experts at the summit who are talking about what's working in e-commerce and sourcing today. So for today's session, we have 3 presentations lined up for you guys. First of all, we're going to be talking about the power of external traffic and Google Ads. We have Amy Weiss from Amazing at Home to do that presentation. And then we're also going to be talking about how to build an extraordinary brand on Amazon. Verity Sewell from Australia will be giving that presentation. Then we're also going to be talking about mindset strategies to make Imperfect the perfect path forward. In that presentation will be done by Cameron Allen. We also have a few suppliers joining us today after the presentations, and these suppliers are going to be talking about their companies and also showing some of their latest products to you. And if you're interested in those products, you'll be able to contact the suppliers directly. So we've got an amazing show lined up for you today. Stick around with us until the end. And I'm going to invite our very first guest on stage now, Amy Weiss from Amazing at Home. Hi, Amy.
Hello, Megla. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yes, thank you so much, Amy, for joining us. And we were just talking before we went live how we miss in-person events, right? We're just waiting to go back to Hong Kong to the physical Global Sources Summit. But hey, virtual is, I guess, the second best thing that we can do.
Exactly. It's still great to be here. You can still feel the buzz of everyone being able to join together. And especially those people that might not have been able to come all the way to Hong Kong, they get to experience a little bit of the Global Sources Summit. So it's kind of
Yes.
good thing.
Absolutely. Also, guys, I want to remind you to register for the conference. So you can go to globalsources.com/summit. You see the URL scrolling at the bottom of your screen over there. If you do register, you can get access to the agenda, to all of the slides that the speakers are presenting, and all of the replays will also be emailed to you after the summit. So definitely consider registering for the summit. Even though the summit is free, it's being streamed on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It's entirely free, but if you do register, there are some bonuses that you can get. Okay, Amy, so let's get into your presentation. I'm going to share your screen and let's get started.
Okay, sounds great. All right, everyone. Well, today I'm so excited to talk to you about the power of external traffic, and I'm going to be giving you an intro, a very basic intro to how you can use the power of Google Ads to drive extra traffic to your Amazon listing. You're going to find this incredibly effective during launch. So I'm excited to talk to you about external traffic today and how you can get more sales and on any e-commerce platform, including your website, by using external traffic and not just Amazon PPC. So a little introduction to me. I'm Amy Weiss. I'm an MBA military veteran. I'm an inventor, instructor, and I'm a top-rated e-commerce consultant and course creator. So I have a course called Concept to Launch. I invented this pet product that I'm holding in my hand here, and I have a consulting firm called Amazing at Home, where we help entrepreneurs and brand owners master the path from concept to launch and every step along the way. And then I also have a podcast for Amazon sellers called the Seller Roundtable. So you can definitely check that out as well. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So what is external traffic? I mean, really, we talk about what Amazon, when we're launching a product on Amazon, most of us, in fact, even some of the really, really big 7- and 8-figure sellers, we've heard them say, well, I really just use Amazon PPC. And maybe they do some chat bots, something like that. But external traffic is everything off of that platform. So on Amazon, you have your PPC, but everything off of that platform, whether it's organic or paid ads, is considered external traffic. So you've got your paid ads, you might have an email or instant messenger, you might be using social media, you might have website referrals or offline sources like running an ad in a magazine or something like that, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is all of the traffic that you can drive to your listings on Amazon from off of Amazon. All right, so why would we use external traffic? Why not just use Amazon pay-per-click advertising? Well, it's, first of all, Amazon's algorithm really, really loves external traffic. In fact, we found our products to rank 3-to-1 ranking over PPC alone when we use external traffic. So, I mean, the way that Amazon's algorithm sees external traffic is they think about it as you actually bringing them potential new customers. So the ranking that happens from that is really, really effective. And it can be really, really cheap as well to run external traffic to Amazon, because Amazon is such a large and trusted domain. And the search engine wants to make people happy, right? It wants to show searchers relevant results. So that's really, really great. Secondly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. What do I mean by that? If you were to run, for example, a YouTube video that's unboxing your product, showing it off, it's going to drive traffic to your listing for a long, long time. Think about that Pinterest pin that you create that shows your product or shows the benefits, or that drive traffic to one of your blogs, to your website. That is the gift that keeps on giving. It is constant traffic that is constantly coming to either your listing or your website. And number 3, it's how you take control of your brand. So as we all know, Amazon could shut us down at any time, right? If we put all of our eggs in Amazon's basket. But if we connect with customers outside of Amazon, we can really, really direct that traffic and really do a great job of growing our lists and really getting a lot of brand awareness off of Amazon. So it's how you can take control of your brand. Have you ever wondered how that really crappy competitor listing is getting all of those sales? What is happening off of Amazon? Whenever you see like one seller on a page that's doing really, really well and their listing isn't even that great, it's most likely because they've mastered traffic off of Amazon, or because they're selling in retail off of Amazon, which is also, by the way, external traffic. Anytime you're raising that brand awareness off of Amazon, it can be very, very powerful. All right, so let's talk about traffic off of Amazon. Where does it come from? So first, over here on the left, I'm showing from 2020, SimilarWeb did a study of traffic to Amazon. And 56% of the traffic that goes to Amazon is actually direct, meaning people are going directly to Amazon.com. 56% of searchers are going directly to Amazon.com, and they're typing in Amazon.com, they're going right there and they're searching for products. So that's where it's great to make sure that you're on page 1, you've got your PPC going for 56%. But what about the other half of customers? Where are they coming from? Before they get to Amazon, a little less than half, right? The other 44% there are coming from off of Amazon. So where are they coming from? So let's look at this. Of that 100% of external traffic off of Amazon, 65% of it comes from search. 65% comes from search. That means people are going to search engines and searching for products before they come to Amazon. So imagine the power of you getting in front of those customers, of the people that are not going direct to Amazon. 65% is coming from search. And we have this 15% that comes from referrals. We've got 12% that comes from social. And we have 6% from email and 2%, only 2% from display ads. All right. Let's also talk about who owns most of search, right? Google owns 87% of search traffic. That's important to know, right? That's why I'm talking about Google Ads today, because of that 65% of search, Google owns 87% of it. So we definitely want to harness the power of Google. People are using Google search engine to search for products, followed by Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, Ecosia, and MSN. All right, and let's look at the top 5 organic keywords. So that means people coming organically to Amazon. The top 5 organic keywords from Amazon are Amazon, Amazon Prime, Amazon.com, Twitch Prime, and AWS. And then we look at the top 5 paid keywords related to Amazon, and we can see it's very similar, Amazon, Amazon Prime. So when people are going to search, they're also typing in the keyword Amazon when they're looking for that. So they might be typing in t-shirt, Amazon, water bottle, Amazon, whatever the product is, Amazon. It's a highly searched keyword across the net. All right, let's talk about referral traffic. Remember that little bit of traffic that came from referrals? So this is websites that are actually referring traffic over to Amazon. So some of the top referring sites, we've got Amazon's Prime Video, we've got Audible, slickdeals.net, Deal News, NewYorkTimes.com. So have you ever thought about running some ads on Slick Deals or Deal News or New York Times? This is a really, really great way. They're one of the top referring sites to Amazon. So definitely go to those websites and check them out, and you can advertise there for a very affordable price. And we already know that they're top referrers to Amazon. So get your deals in front of customers that way. All right, let's look at social media. Lots of social media. We saw it had a large percentage coming from social media. Of that social media, 61% of traffic going to Amazon is coming from YouTube. Wow, right? 61% of traffic going to Amazon is coming from YouTube. So how can you leverage the power of that? How can you use organic traffic? How can you do unboxing videos, do lots of different videos, informational videos, make some vlogs, really connect with your customer on YouTube. And it's very easy then to run that traffic to Amazon, right? You can also do YouTube pre-roll ads or mid-roll ads, and that's where you're going to show your video about your product right before another video. If you have an influencer that you really, really like me, I'm in the cat space. So I can find really, really famous cat pages, really famous cat videos, and I can run my ad before that. I don't have to pay that person to rep my product. I can simply set up my ads to run before their videos. And that is the power of YouTube. So really, really great. And then we've got 17% coming from Facebook. Many of you are using Facebook. Would love to hear from you in the comments if you're using Facebook, YouTube, or any of these channels. 10% is coming from Reddit. Wow, okay. How many of you have checked out Reddit? I know they have the Random Acts of Amazon subreddit, which is really, really popular. There's a lot of traffic coming to Amazon from that. 4% coming from Twitter. I know many resellers and wholesale sellers also use Twitter, and they hashtag their products and post on Twitter and really try to drive traffic to their deals. So 4% of that is coming from there, and 1% is coming from Pinterest, but that is growing all the time. All right. So how do you know what kind of traffic that you can use on these channels? You can learn that by studying your competitors, but let's look at some popular sources of external traffic. So have you ever thought about some of these sources? I would love to hear from you. Tell me which ones you use. So you can use rebate or deal sites. You can use influencers, chatbots, Facebook Messenger, Amazon Vine, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, blogs, media, Google Ads, Bing, and your email list. So there's lots of different popular sources that you can use, and you might be using different sources during different parts of your sales funnel. So maybe when you're at the awareness part of your sales funnel, where you're just trying to kind of see who's interested, get people looking at your brand, there it's best to use video ads, display ads, where people kind of look at things with their eyes and make those decisions. And as you move people down through the funnel, that's when you can use some shopping campaigns and remarketing campaigns. But as you notice, you can use search ads and social ads throughout the whole funnel. So you can get buyers throughout the whole funnel with search ads and social ads. So those are very, very effective. And let's just take one more visit at the stages of the funnel. So we've got awareness, moving into interest, consideration, and then purchasing. So during awareness and interest, you can see YouTube is very popular, email marketing, Facebook and Instagram. And then when they get down to the buying part of the funnel, it's really great to run Amazon ads, PPC, we've got Google ads, Bing ads, and then Facebook retargeting after they've visited your website or your page, you're retargeting and continuing with those Google ads. All right, so let's talk about Google ads. All right, the pros of Google ads. The pros are that they're bottom of funnel, meaning that's where buyers are. Buyers come to Google to actually find products and make a buying decision. They're coming, where is this water bottle on Amazon? Where is this, whatever I'm buying, right? They're going to Google to shop and make a buying decision, all right? Also, another pro of Google ads is that ads appear all over the internet. So they don't just show up on Google when they search, they actually show across different websites and everything that have bought that space or used that space for Google ads. So it's really, really great to have your ads. It's diverse traffic from all over the internet. It's also extremely cheap to drive traffic to Amazon because Amazon is a huge trusted domain. I know I mentioned that earlier, but it's really, really cheap and the ads are very scalable. Also, you might notice that your products already have ads being run in the Google shopping area. You might see if you search for your products on Google, you might see, even though you're not running Google shopping ads, you might see your products there from Amazon. And that's either Amazon running those ads or it's affiliates. Amazon has an affiliate program, so a lot of affiliates also run Google ads. So you may already have Google ads for your products simply because you have an affiliate or Amazon themselves running those ads. All right, let's talk about some cons. Number one, they're 100% paid. So once you stop running Google ads, you stop getting that traffic, right? So unless you have like a ranking website or some other sources of external traffic that happen to rank organically on Google, once you stop running Google ads, you lose that traffic. So it's kind of, that's the worst part, right? But the second con is that it's hard to track conversions on Amazon and retargeting is limited. So there's a few ways to track your conversions. You can use Amazon Associates. Anyone can sign up for Amazon's affiliate program called Amazon Associates, and you can add your tag to the link that you're sending your traffic with. You can also use Amazon attribution, but it's a little bit clunky. It's not perfect yet. It's getting better every day though, so that's good. You cannot use resources like pixelfy.me. Google does not like third-party landing pages in between links, right? So you can either run traffic to your website or you can run traffic to Amazon or wherever, your eBay, Etsy, whatever platform you would like, but Google will not let you run it to a landing page in between that final source, all right? Let's talk about YouTube. The pros of YouTube is that you saw that, 60% of traffic going to Amazon from social media is coming from YouTube. That's really, really cool. So you have a research and reviews driven customer on YouTube already. There's both ads and organic opportunities. Remember, you can post as many videos as you want on YouTube, right? Completely free. So that's lots of organic opportunities. And you can run ads, as I mentioned, the influencer trick, or you can choose other videos that are related to the lifestyle of your customer, and you can run some pre-roll ads. And you can use an influencer instead of having to grow your own channel. So if there's already a really great influencer on YouTube, you can utilize them, right? The cons of YouTube: you need a video. It's a barrier for some. Some people just do not have a video yet. Maybe you just launched, you don't have a video. And also, You can run ads to Amazon, but it's hard to track your conversions. Again, you're gonna have the same problem. You manage your YouTube ads through your Google Ads dashboard. So it's the same issue that you have with Google Ads, where it's harder to track those conversions. All right, let's talk about the rules of running external traffic. Now, this is just in general, the rules, okay? The number one rule is to use sources that you know, like, and trust. If you know nothing about Facebook, then I wouldn't suggest you starting ads there, right? Really start with sources that you know, like, and trust. And then let's just talk about the general rules. Number one general rule, know where you are in the funnel. So we're talking about the sales funnel here. So if you're, just kind of warming people up, right? If you're just presenting if you're on a channel where it's a very awareness driven channel and you're trying to ask someone to buy your product now, that might not work well. So you really want to make sure that you understand where you are in the funnel and where your customers are, and that you're doing, that you're setting up your strategy so that it's going to be the most effective for you. All right. Number two, you want to know where your buyer is on the platform and where you are asking them to go. For example, are you asking them to leave their Facebook feed to go read an informational blog post that might convince them to claim a coupon code for your product and buy it? Or are you asking them to leave their Facebook feed and go directly to your Amazon listing and buy full price? Which one is likely to get more conversions? Which is likely to cost more with less ROI? Which is likely to leave a stronger, more lasting impression? It's fine. You can choose whichever one you would like. Just know where your customer is, know where you are, know where you're asking them to go, and ask yourself, if I were the customer doing that, would that make sense to me? Would I go through all of that? So I often see people, they'll build these really complicated funnels and the customer will get hung up along that, right? Customers in general will spend about 10 seconds on a page before they leave, right? So you really want to make sure that you're not asking them to do anything complicated, or you're going to end up spending money on ads that don't convert. All right, number three, plan, test, and tweak. I always see people starting, PPC, and they'll freak out because they spent way too much money, and they'll just pause all of their ads instead of actually taking the time to see what's happening, what's working, what isn't. The best advertisers take that data, learn from it, and actually test and tweak and optimize. Okay, so always review your ads from a customer perspective. And if the customer is not taking the actions you want them to take, ask yourself why and make those changes. A lot of times people just kind of run ads blindly and they really don't think about it from the customer perspective. So make sure that you're doing that and you're really thinking about the customer journey that they have to take and whether or not that's going to be of interest to them. And you can always ask someone else to test that out for you, right? I would rather have a friend go and look at it for me and give me feedback than spend a bunch of money on ads, again, that don't convert. So, all right, my number one rule before you pay for clicks, you never want to drive people or traffic to your product pages until you have a good answer to this one very important question. And that is, will they convert? Okay. You really want to make sure that you set up an awesome listing. You set up really great photos of your product, that it's a really great price, that you have awesome reviews, that you're really set up before you drive traffic to your listing. You're really set up to convert. So make sure before you spend a bunch of money on ads that you have a great listing. It looks great to the customer. You've got reviews, you're priced right. It's just perfect. And then, start running those ads after that. All right. So basically it breaks down to, if you pay for your ad to appear at the top of search, which can be expensive, are you going to get the sale? So let's go over my launch strategy. All right. I choose three forms of external traffic with every product launch. And this is incredibly effective. It is incredibly effective. Many times people come to me on a consulting call and they'll ask me to help them with their product launches. And I will tell them, okay, it's time to pick 3 forms of external traffic. And they look at me blindly and go, can I just do PPC? And yes, you can, but it's not going to be nearly as effective if we pick 3 forms of external traffic. So I'm going to give you some hints about what to pick and how to make this as easy as possible and the most effective as it can be. So number 1, I want you to choose a bottom of funnel traffic source with high buyer intent. Okay, so your goal is going to be to get page visits. That means you want people to visit your listing. And you're not really going to get a lot of conversions here. That's not the goal. The goal is to get page visits. The reason you want page visits when you first launch is because it's going to help your listing index for more keywords. So that's why you want a bottom of funnel traffic source with a high buyer intent, such as Google Ads. So I love Google Ads for this. I start Google Ads from the start as soon as I launch a product, because they take like a week and a half to 2 weeks to really spin up and learn. And you're going to get lots of page visits from that during that spinning up and learning. And you might get a few conversions, but the goal is really to get those page visits and spin up your ads. So that is source number 1. Source number 2 is to choose another bottom of funnel with a high conversion intent. So the goal here is to get page visits again and high conversion. So this is where you want to get the sale, right? So the channels that you can use for high conversion intent is rebates, deal sites like Deal News, stuff like that, right? Chat bots, giveaways. Those are really high conversion intent channels, and they're really easy to set up for the most part, right? Setting up a rebate on a rebate chat or on rebate key is very, very easy, and people are going to claim your rebate. So that's a source of external traffic. You're sending traffic to your listing. And not only that, you're getting page visits. People are going to your page to check it out before they decide to claim your rebate. So you're really, really capitalizing on that traffic. So you've got Google Ads running, you've got some rebates running, and then your third source is going to be a middle of funnel source with social proof intent. So this is where you want to have longer term traffic, you want to have awareness, and you want to have medium conversion. So not everybody's going to convert, but a few people are going to claim it. You can put it in front of the right audience, right? And so some channels you can use here: influencers, YouTube unboxings or reviews, top 10 blogs, press releases. So all of these are actually very easy to set up at launch time, and they are going to rank your products like crazy. You're going to be so surprised. I'm going to show you a screenshot of what our launches look like as far as rank charts, and you're going to be like, wow, okay. So it works so effectively, because remember, 51% of Amazon's traffic is going direct, but what about everybody else? What about the other 49, right? 49% are coming from off of Amazon. How do you get in front of them? This is the way to get in front of them with some diverse options. All right, so this is your launch strategy. Just pick one of each of these and get it going. All right, and remember, choose sources you know, like, and trust, because that's going to help you get it set up and get it moving. All right. One of the common problems that I see is people will do rebates in search, find, buy, and that's the only source of external traffic they'll do, right? They'll do PPC on Amazon, and then they'll do rebates or search, find, buys, and suddenly Amazon's algorithm sees that, and they get to page 1, and then they suddenly fall to page 10. Right. And the reason for that is because they weren't running any other sources of traffic, and the algorithm sees that and it goes, no, yeah, that wasn't real. Right. So this is why you want to choose 3 forms, so that you can keep that traffic going. And after the high conversion intent traffic stops, you're not going to lose your ranking. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the options of traffic flow. So number 1 is run your traffic from your source, wherever, Google Ads, whatever you choose, right? Your source directly to Amazon. The pros of this is that Amazon is a trusted domain with high buyer intent and will convert much better than an unknown website, and ads are cheap running them to Amazon. The cons, again, hard to track your success outside of clicks and BSR. I did learn recently that some people are having success running, tracking it to their storefront, because you can now set up inside of some of your sponsored brand, or excuse me, registered brand options, you can set up some conversion tracking there. So that may be a really good option. Second option is to run it from your source to your website. So that's really great because you can collect buyers' email addresses and information for retargeting, and you can track conversions. The cons are that ads to your website, Google doesn't know your website, right? So they're going to be more expensive, and they're harder to rank for because customers don't trust that site, right? Where if you're sending them to a trusted domain like Amazon or Walmart or eBay or Etsy, they trust that already. So they're more likely to convert there. The third option is your source to a landing page or a bot and then to Amazon. So this is kind of a good mix because you can collect buyers' information for retargeting and you can track your conversions, plus you get the trust factor of Amazon. But the cons here is that it's more expensive for ads. It takes more testing and tweaking to do because you've got a longer funnel, right? A longer customer journey. And it doesn't work with all of your sources. So Google Ads does not allow a mediary. All right, so let's talk about planning our sales funnel. A sales funnel is just the path a customer takes to purchase from your business, all the way to from interested prospect to converted customer. So it's, a lot of people think of sales funnels as like, oh, do I need a ClickFunnels page? Well, yeah, no, you don't. you could set up a funnel anywhere. A funnel is just the path that the customer takes to get interested and then eventually make that purchase. So some tips for you: focus on one sales strategy at a time from start to finish. Remember, plan, test, and tweak, right? You define the path. For example, your funnel could start on Facebook, go through your website or email list, and then end on Amazon, but you define that path. So figure out where you want to go. But a really important thing to kind of keep your mind on when you're doing this is that this quote right here: Smart Insights found that on average, 43% of your site visitors view a product page and only 3% of them end up making a purchase. So really think about that. Really make sure that your product page looks great. Build out the bottom of your funnel first, right? Make that product page look great, and then plan your funnel and plan the path that customer has to take, okay? All right, so let's talk about Google Ads. I'm going to give you guys a basic setup for Google search ads. So this is what we use. We do not use Google shopping ads. We use Google search ads. Remember, 65% of that external traffic is coming from search. So we use Google search ads for this. So search ads, they're cheap and they're highly effective. All right. Amazon is a huge domain. There's tons of searches for it. Remember the top 5 organic keywords, the number 1 was Amazon. Top 5 paid keywords, number 1 was Amazon. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck when you run traffic to Amazon for Google search ads. This also works for other platforms as well, such as Etsy, eBay, Walmart, wherever you're running traffic. Using search ads is a highly effective strategy. All right, so you're gonna set your budget to $5 a day per product. I don't know how much you're spending on Amazon PPC, but I only spend $5 a day per product on Google Ads, and they are highly effective. All right, you're going to use a 2-step URL to rank and index for keywords. So what is a 2-step URL? That is just a URL that includes keywords. And what that does is when you're sending that traffic to Amazon, it doesn't send it directly to your product page. It sends it to your product page, but it looks to the algorithm like the customer was searching using keywords to search for that product and landed on your product page after searching. So this is better for ranking for you. It's best to just use a basic keyword 2-step URL. Don't try to use black hat methods or anything like that. it's just not effective. And there's, a lot of risk with doing that. Just a basic two-step URL, including keywords, so that when you click on that, it shows your keywords in the search bar and your product page there. Okay. You're going to write a text ad that makes sense. Do your competitor research and split test over time. So this is the part a lot of people skip. They kind of just like hurry through the text on the ad. And you really want to make sure that it makes sense so that customers are interested in clicking on it and going to Amazon. If they're looking for t-shirts on Amazon, well, maybe you're selling a t-shirt, a funny t-shirt on Amazon, right? You want to make sure that your text that's in your ad, so this text right up here, right, that it makes sense. It gets them interested in going and visiting your product page, right? So really put some thought into that. And remember that search ads are diverse. They follow the user around the internet, so they may see them in their email after they click on them. It takes like 7 to 10, sometimes more touches to get someone to actually buy your product. So it's really good that once they view that Google ad, that it's going to follow them around the internet. They're going to get those touches. That's going to be great. It's going to remind them, hey, go to Amazon and buy this product, right? Go to Etsy and buy this product. It'll be really great for them. All right. So how do you set up your account? You're going to actually have to create an ad. This is the part that screws people up all the time. They get really confused when they're setting up their Google Ads account. So you're going to create an ad during setup, and that's where it throws people off. It's okay. That ad won't actually run. It's just bringing you through the process to get your account set up. Secondly, make sure that you add a payment method. A lot of people set up their ads and they'll come back to us and say, hey, I set up my ads and nothing's happening. And it's because they didn't set up a payment method. So, Google's not running their ads. The third thing to remember when you're running Google ads is that payment is upfront. Unlike Amazon PPC, where you get charged later, afterwards, you get that bill in your account, or it comes out of your overall account. Google charges upfront. So if you put that you're going to spend $5 a day on your product, you're going to get charged a couple $100 upfront. And I don't want you to panic. It's okay. Google is going to use that budget over time, and it looks completely different than Amazon PPC. So it's just important to know these things. Number 4, don't use an existing merchant account. So if you have a Google merchant account that's already running, for example, shopping ads to your website, set up a new Google account with a different email. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not, it's not gonna, it's okay to do that, but you want to set up a different account because you will find it really hard to run ads to Amazon if you're using the same account that's already set up to run ads to your website. So just set up a new account with a new email. All right, so that's some stuff on account setup. And then let's talk about keyword research. So how do you find keywords? PPC is great, but PPC on Amazon, if you do your keyword research off of Amazon, you'll notice that Google keywords and search engine keywords for your products are very different on the search engine like Google and Yahoo and stuff like that than they are on Amazon. So it's not the same things that people search for. So you definitely want to make sure that you're not using Amazon keyword tools to find keywords for your Google ads. My podcast partner and co-host, Andy Arnott, actually created software to create these Google ads for you and do all the keyword research, including the two-step URL. It's called the Titan tool from sellerseo.com. So you can definitely check that out. I think they have a free 7-day trial, but if you're wanting kind of a done for you service, it connects to your Google Ads account automatically, and it will set up your ads for you. Now you still have to optimize your ads from the Google Ads dashboard, but this tool is really great. It's the only tool out there that helps you set up Google search ads to your Amazon product, and it kind of does it for you. All right. As I mentioned, using a two-step URL, Helium 10 has a really great free tool called Gems. You can go to helium10.com/gems. And if you're just launching your product, you want to make sure in your two-step URL that you use keywords from your title because your listing hasn't indexed yet. So you don't want to, if you're selling a water bottle, you don't want to try and put teacup in your in your two-step URL, as it probably won't work. So you want to use keywords in your title, okay? That's so, so, so important. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be giving away a free Google Ads course at the end of this presentation here in a few slides. So make sure that you're paying attention, because I'm going to ask you a question about this, all right? So let's continue. All right, setting up your campaign in Google Ads. Remember, your goal is sales. The type of ads, you're going to do search or search display. The way to your goal is website visits. You're going to create your ad, type in the text to display and your two-step URL that you would like to use. And then you're going to create 3 ads. You're going to stay with the same ads until you're satisfied with the ranking for those keywords, and then add new ones. As I mentioned, that two-step URL is going to help you rank for those keywords. And sending external traffic to Amazon is going to rank your products 3-to-1 over PPC. It is really, really impressive, the results that we've gotten from this. We've been running Google Ads, Google search ads to our Amazon products for 4 years now. And it's so effective. It's just really, really awesome. All right, so some general success tips. Number 1, Google Ads take time. They're not like Amazon PPC, where you're like, okay, I got 5 clicks and 1 sale. All right, time to adjust my bid. It takes time, 2 to 3 weeks to spin up and really learn and then be able to optimize. You want to check your BSR over time. One metric that you have on Amazon that will help you kind of track the effectiveness of your Google Ads and your external traffic is your best sellers rank, your BSR. You don't want to track that every day. BSRs go up and down every day, all the time. So you don't want to, I've had people freak out, because we also have a Google Ads service where we'll set up your Google Ads for you. And I've had people, contact us a day after we set up their Google Ads, and they go, oh my gosh, my BSR is just, it's so crazy. Like, let's turn off these ads. And it's like, wait a minute, we haven't even started them yet. You haven't even really gotten any traction yet. So you want to track your BSR over time, not on a day-to-day basis, okay? So you can see one of our launches that we did using Google Ads in the beginning. The BSR is like kind of crazy, but then over time, it really stays low. Most people's launch, their BSR chart, it looks like a bunch of staircases. But you'll find when you use external traffic effectively and you have a good listing set up, you've got a good offer, it's going to look more like this. You're going to get some spikes in the beginning, and you're just going to go lower and lower and lower and lower. And we're not doing crazy giveaways or anything like that. I showed you guys the launch strategy earlier. It's very simple. 3 forms of external traffic, some on Amazon PPC. It's very effective. You don't have to do all this crazy search, find, buy, all of this, like a bunch of giveaways, stuff like that. It can just be part of your strategy, okay? So the 3rd tip is to optimize your bids and keywords by adding additional suggestions from Google. So you want to make sure that you're optimizing using your Google Ads dashboard, right? And you can kind of use those additional suggestions for keywords from Google. You can also use Google Keyword Planner for finding keywords as well. All right, so we're going to do a giveaway. We actually have a step-by-step Google Ads to Amazon course at amazingathome.com underneath the courses menu on our website. And I would love to give this away for free. Now, this is a very beginner's course. This is not like advanced Google Ads or anything like that. It's just to help you get your Google Ads set up to your Amazon products. So I would love if Megla thinks it's all right for me to ask a question to you guys.
Yes, let's do it, Amy.
Okay. So the question is, when you're first launching a product and setting up Google Ads, where should you get your keywords for your 2-step URL? When you're first launching and you're setting up Google Ads, where should you get your keywords for your 2-step URL? And if you guys want to comment,
Yeah, so guys, type it in the comments. Type your answer in the comments wherever you're watching from, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Type your answer in the comments and let's see who gets it right. The first person to get the answer correct will be getting Amy's
We've got a
giveaway.
winner. We've got a
So
winner.
Scott says product title.
That is correct. Good job,
Yay.
Scott.
Scott has been listening.
Yes, Scott. I love it. Great job. The right time to comment. So that's great, Scott. If you just want to send me an email, amy@amazingathome.com, I will send you the instructions on how to claim that. Reach out and we'll get you hooked up with a free Google Ads course. Thank you so much for participating in the fun. All right. So did we want to clear off the screen?
Yeah. So did you have anything else? Okay.
No,
All right,
just
so we're done.
just taking any questions that anyone has.
Okay, awesome. That was a great presentation, Amy. Lots of information, lots of details. So yeah, very interesting to know that 60% of the traffic, the social traffic that's coming to Amazon is from YouTube. That is pretty significant. So yeah. Scott says, thanks so much. Learned so much as well.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's really, really,
congrats.
it's a really, really effective strategy. And, you know, when we think about those three forms of external traffic, I think people get really overwhelmed. But if we just look at like, okay, Google search ads, some rebates, or like a deal news site, something like that. I know a lot of people don't even think about running an ad on a deal site that's already referring trusted traffic to Amazon. So that's going to be really effective. So, I mean, for your three forms of external traffic, you could do a YouTube, you could do a Google Ads, and then you could just do a rebate, and you're done. And you're going to have a really, really great launch. It's going to be awesome.
So guys, if you have any questions for Amy, type them in the comments now. We'll start wrapping up and Amy will take questions. So John says, great strategies.
Thanks, John.
Cool. So yeah, I was really surprised to learn that you're only spending about $5 a day on Google Ads. That is really good because, I mean, PPC can be so expensive on Amazon. So this is absolutely fantastic. And you also mentioned, that you don't run ads on Google Shopping. So how is Google Shopping different from, the regular Google ads, and why don't you run ads or other things on Google Shopping?
Well, it's difficult to run the ads with the two-step URL and remember how much came from display ads? Mm-hmm. Google Shopping ads are display ads. But a lot of traffic is coming from search, and 65% is coming from search, and 87% of search is owned by Google. So that's why we do search ads. So you can do shopping ads if you would like, but they're more effective to run them to your website, or if you're signed up as an Amazon affiliate, you could run shopping ads through that. It's not as easy to set up shopping ads as well to your Amazon products this way, using this two-step URL, and they're much more expensive. So if you're just looking for ranking, remember 65% of that traffic is coming from search, and you're running search ads. So it's really awesome.
Right. And how effective do you think are chatbots, or do you use chatbots at all to drive traffic now?
I don't need them. That's the thing. It's so easy to just do. I don't do a lot of giveaways or anything like that because I sell more unique products and they're things that customers need. So I can do it very effectively with coupons and just running some deals, maybe a few rebates at launch time just to boost the sales. But in general, if you have a really great product and you're already getting in front of buyers with that external traffic, that's all you need. It's very effective. To me, it just takes way too much time to set up chatbots and all of that when I haven't needed it. And it's so effective at ranking. Picking that diverse traffic. I have used chatbots in other businesses that I have, and I love them. I think they're great, but I just don't think that they're necessary for every launch.
Right. And what about creating your own audience, for example, creating your own email list, or just getting the audience for yourself, what sort of strategies do you use to get email addresses or
So
yeah.
I think it depends on the customer. For me, I've done my target market analysis of my customers, and my customers want to buy the types of products that I sell. They want to buy them in big box retail. They don't want to be email marketed to. It's just not as effective. So, and Amazon is considered a big retailer to customers. So for my products personally, they're not really interested in being marketed to in that way. I sell products for cats in the cat litter and cat care kind of thing. So there's not as much sales from an email marketing perspective. So for me, I focus my efforts on selling in retail, selling in multiple major retail channels, and then also utilizing PR in media. So we have, we've been in a lot of top 10 lists, in blogs, in really popular ranking websites, trusted websites like the Daily Caller, those kinds of major trusted media outlets. So that's kind of how we focus our traffic, is just bringing that awareness that way. We don't focus as much on building up our email list. We focus on driving traffic to those bigger channels where customers are wanting to buy products like ours.
Okay, makes sense. What about Facebook ads? Do you run Facebook ads at all?
I have run Facebook ads in the past. I don't run Facebook ads now. I mostly, like I said, I just use most of my Facebook and Pinterest traffic is organic. So we do Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, and our stuff is just really more organic. It's like more just brand awareness kind of posting. It's not necessarily specifically for Facebook ads. We just haven't found them to be necessarily effective or necessary with our other traffic strategies. So like I said, we focus more on bigger PR, at least for my products. Now, I have done this with other people, with my clients' products. So we have run Facebook ads for client products. But the most important thing to keep in mind is your customers. Where do your customers hang out? And where are they buying products like yours? So study other competitive brands and how they're running their traffic and how effective it is, and look at how you can differentiate just a little bit and utilize those same strategies.
Right. So guys, if you have any questions for Amy, this is your last chance. We're going to start wrapping up now and move on to our next presentation. You can also get more information about Amy's courses and a lot of different services that Amy offers at amazingathome.com. Amy, last question. You also talked about finding keywords, and that I think is sometimes so difficult for people to do, because that's the first thing that you need to do when you start running any ads or whatever it is. You have to have a strong foundation of good keywords. So do you want to share some strategies with people on finding the best keywords for their products? And of course, you mentioned there's Google Ad Planner. That's a really good way to start. But what are some strategies and what are some things that people should keep in mind while doing keyword research?
Well, I think you have to always keep the platform where you're running ads on, like, know where you're at in the funnel, right? Know where your customer is at and keep that platform in mind. So if you're running ads on Amazon PPC, you should be thinking about where your ad is going to show up. So really think about the strategy behind it. So if you are just launching your product, you don't necessarily want to choose really broad keywords, right? If I'm selling a water bottle, I don't want to choose the keyword water bottle. That's going to cost me a lot of money. I want to pick something like water bottle with lid and straw. That, where do you want to be on page one? Remember, the number one rule for running ads and to those keywords, bidding on those keywords, is will you convert? So think about the keywords where you're converting. And so what we always do after we write our listings, our program, we teach really think about the keywords where you want to be showing up on that page, where you want that ad to show up on the page. And that's how you should strategize your keywords. And then as you grow and as your brand registered, then you can start thinking about some other ad strategies, like, okay, what page should I be running a video ad on? What page could I do a headline search ad on? If you're doing Google ads, you want to think about, okay, first of all, what are customers searching for when it comes to my product? Put those search terms in the search bar. So use Google's keyword planner. It's free with your Google Ads account. Use Google Keyword Planner, but also put those keywords in the search bar. Do the same thing on Amazon. Look at the page. Is it an opportune page for you to be running an ad on? Or is it not as relevant as you thought it was, right? So definitely do your keyword research, but then take the customer journey and make sure that your product is going to stand out on that page, and people are going to be interested in clicking on your ad on that page and converting there.
Okay, makes sense. Well, Amy, thank you so much for your time today. It was a great session, a lot of good information. I'm sure people found it really valuable. So really appreciate your time here today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Megla, and thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks a lot, Amy. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we are going to move on to our next session now. So for our next session, we have Verity Sewell joining us, and she's going to be talking about how to build an extraordinary brand on Amazon. I'm going to invite Verity on stage now. Hi, Verity. How are you? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I was trying to stay quiet in the background. So thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Verity, for joining us. So, you're going to be talking about building a brand on Amazon.
Absolutely.
So let's get straight into it. Do you want to share your screen? And
sure.
Let's get into the slides.
Right.
So guys, as Verity is going through her presentation, if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to type them in the comment section wherever you're watching from.
Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen. And then we'll just put it on the presenter mode for you.
Yep.
All right.
There, we have it.
Okay.
Now, let's go for it.
Okay, so everyone, I'm so glad to be here and be able to present to everyone, and hopefully you can get some good information out of what I'm going to be talking about today. So we're going to jump straight into talking about building an extraordinary brand on Amazon, and this is something that I feel really passionate about and talk to a lot of clients about, and have done so for quite a few years now. And so I feel like it's something that's maybe not talked about as much. We talk a lot about the tactics, how to sell, what we should be doing, all of those exciting parts of, building and scaling and all of that. But one big aspect to selling online anywhere, and if that's Amazon for you, then, that brand element is often forgotten. And it's really something that we should be considering a lot more of. So I'll introduce myself. So Megla said I'm Verity Sewell, and I'm from Perth in Western Australia, so in the beautiful big half of Australia. And I've been in the Amazon game for quite a few years now. I think it's since probably 2012 when I started as a seller myself. So I have been where a lot of you are right now, started out private labeling, and that's how I got into this business. And I think it's important to stop and say that, because when you hear people present at things like this, you sort of think, wow, they're so far ahead. But we've all been there. We've all been at that start. We've all had to come from somewhere to get to this point. And it's all about that knowledge and journey. And especially with Amazon, it's such a fast moving platform. There's always new things to learn. So I've been really lucky that I've had a bit of a unique experience with Amazon. So although I have sold myself on Amazon, and I've sold globally, and I've done the whole private label thing and continue to do that, and that's been fantastic. I've actually been very, very lucky that I've actually worked with product brands that are already established in a marketplace somewhere, and helped them launch on Amazon. So it was kind of like reverse engineering things. So you would have heard people probably already talking about this, but when you're starting out and you're private labeling and you're looking for the products and you go through all that research stage, I've been lucky enough that I've worked with brands who have already decided on their product, and they might be already selling in the marketplaces like retail, so brick and mortar. They might already be selling on their website. They might be on other e-commerce channels, and they are looking at Amazon as being a way that they could possibly export, so get into new countries and locations, and opening up a market to selling to a population that they might not have had access to. So for instance, America. And so that's been really interesting. And I've been very lucky that I've been able to look inside those businesses and what's gone on to make them what they are. And so those sorts of brands, they've obviously established the product, they know a lot about their market already, and it's about being able to launch them on the platform and if Amazon's the right one. So in doing that, I've definitely learned a lot about brands and product brands specifically, and what makes them tick, what makes them work, what makes them successful, what some of their struggles have been, and looking at it from that point of view. And so doing that and working in that Amazon space together has meant that I can come today and talk to you about this and why it's so important to actually think about the brand aspect of your business when you're selling on the platform, and what can take you from being a bit of an average seller through to an extraordinary brand on there. And we'll talk about the assets and what's so important about building that and why you should consider it. And I think when I started learning back in the day, I remember going and to a presentation that someone was talking about overseas and talking about Amazon, and they said, oh, don't worry about a brand, it's not that important. Now, what I've learned, and I sort of want to share with you right now, is that for a lot of you, you'll be told that because when you're trying to look for products and you're in that space, there's a lot of hurdles you have to overcome to even get your product up on Amazon. You'll already know that if you're experiencing it. All the things from sourcing through the shipping to just getting it live on Amazon. There's a lot to cover. And so when you're learning, a lot of people say, don't worry about branding, it's not important. But I think that it actually should be something that we think about, because it's going to be the foundation to our business and where we go. So let's jump into all that information that I'm going to share with you. And I thought this was quite appropriate. So this is a little quote from Jeff Bezos that said, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So I think that's kind of an appropriate thing to think about. And let's hope that when you build a brand for your business, that you want people in that room to be talking about how amazing it is. You want to be that brand where people say, I want to buy from them, rather than the competition because of all of these good reasons. You want to be that person. You don't want to be that person that they're saying, oh, don't buy from them, they're not as good, go and buy from that competition person. So that's, I think, a good point to an appropriate one from Jeff Bezos. So I just put that in there. So what has working with brands actually taught me? So this is some of the things I think are valuable to share with you and what I've experienced. So your brand is your most valuable asset to your business. So the brands that I work with, they think quite differently. They think in a much more strategic, high-level way, and they think of their brand as their asset. That's how they think about it. Your brand needs to be more than a name, a logo, and a tagline. So a lot of you will sit there and say, I'm a brand, I've been trademarked, or I've got a brand name, so I'm a brand. It's a lot more than that to be a brand, and we'll walk through all those steps as well today. You want to commit a brand story to the customer's memory. So all of you now can think of brands. There's so many that come to mind when we think about a certain brand. So it might be a food brand. It might be something that we buy at the grocery store. It might be a clothing brand. And you got to think, what has that brand done for you to remember it? And that's what you want to strive to do. You want to be that brand that's selling to the customer where they go, oh, I loved that cereal. I'm going back to Amazon to buy that. And I love that so much. So you're putting that memory, committing that memory through your branding. So So your branding is about the customer's overall perception of your business. And I think that's really important to think about. And I was actually talking to someone about this yesterday, actually, about there is sort of this front to a brand, and there's lots of things that go on behind brands. And I know that because I've worked with them. So they can come and look a certain way on the outside, and that's what you're trying to establish. But there's a lot of things that go on in the inside of a business and that brand. Branding builds trust. Without a doubt, it's so important to understand that branding builds trust. And we all have done this. All of you now will have experienced this, where we've bought something because we trusted it more because of its brand, when we probably could have bought most likely the identical product. It's probably been made in the same factory from someone else, but they didn't really have any brand around it, and we just weren't quite sure if it was legitimate or if we could trust it. So it does build that trust factor. Customers choose brands over low-price, unbranded products, and that's another important thing to think about, especially on the Amazon marketplace, where it can be a bit of a slippery slope down when it comes to pricing, and when we're in a very competitive niche. And I've been recently working with a brand on this exact thing, where they had a product in a fairly competitive market, where there were a lot of sort of like-for-like kind of products out there, and their product was a lot more expensive. But by branding it really strongly, and this product, this company had absolutely beautiful branding, they were able to come in at a higher price point, and they were able to sell at that higher price point. So that's also something to remember if you're having those pricing issues, that branding can help solve some of that. You want to be cohesive across all platforms, and we will talk more about what that means, but you need to make sure that all your branding looks similar. So wherever you're looking on any marketplace, whether that's your website, whether that's social media, that's your listings, that's your storefront, all of those aspects, we need to know that they're one, they're a collection, and they're all cohesive. So we will talk about that as well. Without strong branding, you're basically just competing on that price aspect, and we want to sort of move you away from that. Sellers who have strong brand strategy and presence have direction and clarity, and can outperform those without it. And it has a long-term business success that's attached to branding. So the thing that I know is that when I've worked with established brands, they see this long-term gain, opposed to those that I've worked with that sort of look at themselves like a private labeler, where they haven't really got into that brand aspect. They don't look at it from that long-term success place. And that's what I want you to get into your mindset today. So as a little bit of fun for you, just quickly, and I'm not sure if anyone's going to be able to watch these back, or if you are, you can do this as well. So I really want to change your thinking about branding, because I know it's had a bit of a bad rap and people say you don't need it, but it is actually really important. So to help you get into that mindset, I want you just to take a second to write this down. Would you describe yourself as an Amazon seller? Now, if you're not an Amazon seller and you're listening to this and you're selling eBay, that's fine. You can just replace that bit with eBay seller. But would you describe yourself as an Amazon seller? So if you would, just write down yes, or yes, I'm an Amazon seller, however you would want to write it down for a second. And then we'll jump to the next slide. Okay.
Okay, so guys, type it in the comments. If you describe yourself as an Amazon seller, type yes in the comments. There's a slight delay, Verity, from the time that we speak and from the time people can
That's so good. That's so
see
good.
the video. So we'll just give them a couple of seconds, or maybe a minute or so.
No, that's all good.
Cool. So the question is, if you do identify yourself as an Amazon seller, type in yes in the comments. Okay, so Carolyn says yes.
Okay.
That's one.
That's all right. We'll jump to the next slide while people keep answering.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So it's most common for people to say, yes, I would describe myself as an Amazon seller, but I want you to stop doing that, and I want you to think about yourself as a brand, because you're a brand and Amazon is the distribution channel that you sell on. And that is probably the biggest difference in thinking when I work with product brands that are established, and when I work with private labelers that are finding brands products to sell on the platform. So let's just break that down, and just because it's a little bit of one of those ones where you go, what did you just say? So you're a brand and Amazon is the distribution channel that you sell on. So what do we mean by that? Let's just back that up even further. So Amazon is a place for you to sell. Now, if we got rid of Amazon altogether as a channel, what are you left with? You're left with your products. Now, if you have no brand around that, you start to have a problem because you've just got a product and no other asset. So what happens is you've got to think about yourself as a brand, and Amazon's just one of the places you can sell, because you could sell on Etsy, on eBay, on your social media, you can sell on your website. They're all distribution channels for you to sell. And that's the biggest difference, is changing this mindset of I'm an Amazon seller through to I'm a brand and Amazon's the distribution channel that I sell on, as it's just one of the places that you can sell. And when you start to think about it that way, you start to build this into being an asset for your business, and that the brand is its standalone entity and Amazon's just one of the places that you can sell. So I think that that's a really good way to look at it. And it's a great thing to just, I've even had this where I've stuck it on my desk, and I've always remembered that when I've been building product brands, because it is really important, because we can get stuck in this game of Amazon and we're learning all the tactics. And so we immerse ourselves in this Amazon space. But ultimately, you want to be building a brand, and Amazon's just one of the places that you're going to sell. So why branding? So we've obviously covered a lot of that already, but we'll just dig into this even further. So branding's about creating a blueprint for your product-based business. And let me put it like this. If you were going to build a house, you would never build it without the plans, would you? You wouldn't just say, come builders and build my house today. And I want it to look a little bit like this. And it's got to have 3 bedrooms and that's it. You would never have that. You'd have the plans in place. And that's a little bit like building a brand for your business, is that when you're building those foundations, you're building that blueprint so you know the direction in which you're going. I'm just going to take a sip of water, sorry. Okay. So what will implementing a brand strategy actually do for you? So you start to become more memorable to your customers. I mean, you're more likely to get repeat purchases. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want that on Amazon? We all like to get repeat purchases. The Amazon platform loves you to be able to get those repeat purchases. And if you actually go through and look at your sales history, you'll often find that with products that have really strong branding, they get really good repeat purchases. You want to build that brand loyalty. You want customers to buy from you rather than your competition. You want to be able to control that pricing, which we talked about earlier, and shifting away from having to drop your prices to be able to compete. You want to build that connection between you and your target market, and you want that long-term value. So if you ever want to sell your business or acquire investors and funding, and that's something we'll talk about, that you want to be able to build that long-term value and asset. So building a brand, not just a product, should start from the beginning. So this is something that if you're in that stage, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I'm actually still picking my products, I'm still deciding, what I'm going to do with my products and what I should be selling, then this is the time to start thinking about building your brand. But it's okay if you're already down the track, and there might be many of you that are in that space where you've got your products in place and you're thinking to yourself right now, oh, I've kind of already down that path. Is it too late? It's not. And this is something that if you haven't implemented this is a great time to do that. So I like to look at this a little bit like you're building this asset. Now, if you were to, I'll give you an example. If you were to build this asset and you're thinking about it long term and you're going to sell your business and your brand at some point, people sometimes say to me, well, why would I build a brand? I could just put products up on Amazon. I'd have my brand name and that should be enough, because if I sold it, someone will still buy my business from me. But it's a little bit like looking at it from a point of view of if you were to flip homes and you were looking for a good deal, people that are looking to buy businesses and buy brands, they're often looking at ways to improve because they know they can make more money out of it. So it means that if you were to sell your business and you haven't implemented branding, someone could come and buy your business, not for as much, but they know that they could then do it up like flipping a house. You do it up, you renovate it, you make it better. They put a brand behind it, really strong brand messaging, and they sell it for a lot more. So you want to be the one that actually builds this branding, so that if you decide you ever do want to sell your asset, the brand that you've built, that you can get the highest price. So that's another way of looking at this as well. So where should you be? But most people are not in this brand journey. So a lot of you will sit in this, where are we here? In this new sort of private label space when you're just starting out. Most people don't have any branding, and most people sort of stay in that stage. They actually don't get out of that. They get their, maybe they get trademarked, but that's kind of about it, and they don't go any further than that. They've just got the products, nice photos, that's it. There's no depth to their product brand. This is where you should be or have been. So this middle space. So this is this growth stage. So if you're in this space, you want to move to this middle space. And that's about striving to build that strong brand recognition. And you should have experienced it, or like I said, trying to do that at the moment. And we're going to talk about the steps to actually do that and how you start to build your brand. And if you're an established brand, you've already got extensive branding. So there might be some of you listening to this going, I'm really going down this brand space and building that asset for my business. And you will be in that space. But it's only a small percentage that really ever actually get there. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want to stand out from the crowd, you want to be one of that small percentage doing that. So what happens when you don't implement a brand strategy to your product-based business? What happens, and what I've seen with clients that I've worked with that come to me and they haven't really implemented any sort of branding, they lack clarity and business direction. So they don't really know which way they're going. They don't know the forward path. I see that it really slows their overall growth down. And the brands that I work with that are already established, they know exactly where they're heading. But when you don't have that brand strategy in place, you start to lose that momentum and you don't know where that growth is going to come from. Without branding, your business is vulnerable and your customers won't know you or choose you in a competitive landscape. And I think if you're an Amazon seller, you'll already have heard this and you'll already know this as you already experienced it, that Amazon's extremely competitive and it's going to get more competitive. So when you're in a crowded marketplace, what are you going to do to stand out? And if you think that you can just hop on the platform and put some nice product images up, change maybe the color of it, and that's going to be enough, it's not. So you've got to really think strategically about it, and branding can do that for you. And you're just not building an asset. You're not building any asset if you're not really jumping in and putting a brand strategy around it. But how's branding going to help you grow? So it's going to be building brand is going to help you guide your growth, and it's going to be your blueprint. So it's going to be that plan that's going to go forward. So we talked about that before, making sure you have that plan in place so you know the direction in which your business is going. It's the way you grow and scale your business, and you can increase the equity that's inside your business. So that's really important as well. You're increasing that equity and you're building a valuable asset. So I think this is a really good point to bring up. So when we know that cash is king, and that cash flow in when we're selling on Amazon and we're starting to get momentum, we know that it can be a huge struggle in our business if we don't have enough cash flow. So a lot of us will have heard and will have thought this is that we say, oh, I'd love to have that problem. I'd love to be selling so much that I had a cash flow issue and that I was turning over so many products and bringing all these sales. And I remember thinking that as well, that would be a great problem to have. But when it happens, it can strangle your business and it can be a huge, huge issue. So how do we fix that? And a lot of people that as they're growing, they need that input of cash flow. And so they look for investors and funding to assist in that. And what happens is when you actually are looking for those investors and funding to help accelerate that growth, if you don't have any kind of compelling brand story or anything that's really worth investing in, why would they put their capital towards your business? So that's something you've got to think about. If you are just going to put up a product online, not put any branding behind it, not have any strategy behind this, why would someone want to invest and put their money towards your business? So if that's something that you're envisioning or you're at that point, then you really need to implement this. All the brands that I've worked with have really strong brand strategy behind them. And so when they've ever needed this funding, and a lot of them that I've worked with have, they're able to show up and you go, yes, I want to be part of that brand, that business. So if you think about brands you love that are out there that you see every day, you notice them, you know that if you went to them and said, tell me your brand story, tell me your strategy, they would have something to deliver to you. And you want to be in that position that you've got all that asset ready to go. A strong brand presence can build that know, like, and trust factor. And I think that's really important that, that we involve ourselves in that trust so that people come back and buy from us. They know us, they recognize us. So when we show up, they want to keep buying from us over and over again. We want those long-term sales and those repeat sales coming towards us, especially on Amazon. So there's also this concept of that perceived value. And I think cars is a really good example of this, but this is something that you need to think about for your product and your brand, is that perceived value. So it's a little bit like, there's this good story that I kind of have about my uncle that works in the car industry. And we were looking at some cars, my partner and I were looking at some cars, and he said something to me that I just was absolutely shocked about. Some of you will already know this, but I obviously am not a massive car person, so I didn't know this. But we were talking about different cars and more luxury cars versus some like cheaper cars. And he said to me, but Verity, don't you realize that if you pop the bonnet of that luxury car, it's exactly the same engine as that cheaper car? And I was shocked. And I was just buying into that perceived value of that luxury car, thinking, oh, well, they're all the advertising, all that strategy they've put behind it to show up. I've gone, that must be the better car. But in fact, really, they're the same thing. They've both got the same engine. So, that's really important to think about with your brand. How are you going to create this perceived value, especially if you're selling in a very competitive landscape? So if you know there's a lot of people selling similar products to you, what can you do to create that perceived value and doing that with your branding? So 53.4% of shoppers are more willing to buy a brand that they're not familiar with on Amazon than they would be in any other store. And the reason that I put this on here is that when I've run workshops and I've worked with clients, they've sort of said to me, and some of the feedback I hear is, I don't really need to deal with the brand side of things as much because I'm not a huge brand, so no one will know me and it won't really matter. But you don't have to be an Apple or a Lego or anything like that to stand out and be extraordinary on the platform. People are willing to buy from those smaller boutique and unique brands on the platform. So I think it's important to think about that shoppers on there are really willing to give you a go. So you don't have to be this mega brand to stand out. So some interesting sort of facts, and I think once you start thinking through this, you'll notice it pop up everywhere. But Amazon is moving towards being a brand-focused platform. Now, before you've heard this, you probably would have seen a lot of these things, but not joined the dots. But Amazon is coming out saying now that they want to deal with serious brands. That is the platform, that's where it's moving towards. So that's the direction in which it's going. That's who they want from their seller's point of view. So they actually want to deal with either established or serious brands. They don't really want to deal with the, one-off product seller. They're not really going that direction. How do we actually know this? And how do we know this is trending towards this path? And why all of this branding strategy information is so important that you start implementing into your business so you're not left behind. Well, Amazon's starting to show up lots of opportunities, and they are trying to help us grow that brand strategy on the platform. So we know that for anyone that's been selling on Amazon for some time now, you would have experienced before IP Accelerator came in place that, God, back in the day when I started selling, there wasn't even, you didn't even get into the whole having a brand registry. It just wasn't something you did. But now that's huge, and they're making it easier and easier and easier for you to do that. So they've actually implemented the IP Accelerator system so that you can go and get your trademark and you can start using brand registry straight away. So that's a huge indication right there. They started to implement things like the A+ and really improving those design features. They've got the storefront and they've improved those design features as well. So they really want you to show up in the best way possible. Even their advertising has changed, and they now have features like video and the headliners. All those sorts of things are featuring you as a brand. So being able to put your logo there, being able to tell your brand story. You've got Amazon Live, which is another feature that they're getting you to come forward and explain your brand and why you would buy from your brand rather than a competition. We've got things like the transparency and the Project Zero. So looking at stopping counterfeit items and all of that so that they know that you're a serious, legitimate brand on there and how you can protect your brand on the platform. And recently we've looked at the Amazon Launchpad, which is for emerging, exciting brands that are coming out. So everything about the platform is saying to us, we want you to be a brand, we want you to be serious, we want you to show up that way. So it's really important that if you don't get on this bandwagon now, you might get left behind, because Amazon's really wanting you to show up in the best light. So you would have heard this before, but your brand must be more than a name, a logo, and a tagline. And I've got two really good examples that I'm going to walk you through, and they're worth checking out. These two brands have absolutely beautiful product. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but they're really good examples for you to go away and have a look at what really good branding and strategy looks like. So the first one I'm going to show you is Yeti. Some of you will have known it. They're global now. They've gone absolutely crazy. They have an amazing brand. And the reason that I put them in as an example is because we talked about that know, like, and trust factor. And I've actually bought some of these products before, and they've stood out so clearly to me as a brand that I thought, you know what, if it's doing that to me, I'm going to put it up here for you to all experience that too. So this little statement actually says a lot about them. So in 2006, we founded Yeti Coolers with the simple mission to build the cooler we'd use every day if it existed. One that was built for the serious outdoor enthusiast rather than the mass discounted retailers. So I think that last bit is really important. So they're basically acknowledging, look, there are a lot of coolers out there. In Perth, well, in Australia, some of us call them eskies, but there are a lot of them out there in the marketplace. So they're acknowledging that, but they looked at this and went, how can we do this better? How can we stand out from the crowd so that we don't get stuck in this situation where we're having to drop our pricing and go to those mass discount retailers? So that's how they were looking at positioning themselves. Now, Yeti have started off with the coolers. They now sell everything from coffee mugs, which I own, which are fantastic, through to even dog bowls and pet things as well. And when you receive their product, it actually will arrive, and inside it, they have marketing material, how to care for it, how to clean, what's interesting about the product that you might not have known. So they actually tell you those features. On the outside, they even have the labeling that's explaining all of that, when you would use it, why you would use it. So they've really gone beyond what they needed to do. They could have just simply sent me that coffee mug in its box, and that would be it, and happy days. But there would have been no part of me that would have stopped and gone, oh, wow, they've really gone that extra mile. And in a competitive landscape, we've really got to do that. We also know that when we look at them from a brand perspective and a visual brand perspective, when we look at them from their website, which is this little caption here, through to them showing up on Amazon, through to their actual physical packaging and the printing that they're using, everything is cohesive. So I can look anywhere on their social media, their website, Amazon, everywhere, and I know it's the same brand. They've got really, really strong brand messaging. They haven't overcomplicated it. They know who their target audience is, and they're really going hard out at really investing into them. So I think this is a really good example. Definitely go and check them out and you'll see what I mean. They have really, really beautiful product. it's not that they have come up with something so unique and invented a product. They've just really got into this mind space of them being a brand, and Amazon's just one place they can sell, because I know they sell at lots of different places. So they're seeing this as from the big picture. And that's what you should be looking at this from this perspective for your brand, looking at it from the big picture. This is the other example that I want to give you, and this is a beautiful brand, quite different to the one we've just looked at with Yeti, but Imperfect is absolutely a gorgeous brand. Some of you might have seen them around, and their packaging definitely stands out. They have these bright poppy colors. So if you ever see them in shops, in the retail market or online, they really, really stand out. They were just normal people like you and I that started out a brand, and their whole premise was about this zero waste. And they even say, zero waste wasn't a huge concern as it is today, and that solid beauty bars weren't a thing, and they definitely weren't available in supermarkets or even on Amazon. So they even quote that Amazon space, which is great. But they basically, what they're thinking is when you buy shampoos and conditioners and soaps, they often come in a plastic bottle, and they're wanting to reduce how much of that's going to the environment. So they have a really strong story behind their brand. So what they designed was solid bars, like a soap bar, but it's your shampoo and conditioner in a solid bar, and it comes in eco-friendly packaging. So they really have gone out of their way to drive that brand story, and so that we remember that. And they also pull at those heartstrings with this brand really, really well. So we start to think, well, we don't want to damage the environment. We don't want to be part of that. And the reason that they can capture their audience so well and stop you buying from their competition is there's a little bit of that kind of guilt that comes into it, that we think, oh, if I don't buy from that brand and I buy from that other one that's saying they're eco-friendly, what if it's not up to the same standards? Because they really show themselves off at that high standard and all the things they do from that environmental point of view. And so you start to go, oh no, I'll go and buy from them again because the product is great, they were reliable, really beautiful product. So they're living up to their expectation, but also I know when I buy from them that their mission that they are putting forward is actually going to happen. So I know that I'm going to be saving the environment when I buy from them. So that's another really good brand to have a look at and scope them out on all their marketplaces as well and see how they've done it. But I think this is a good example to say these people were everyday people that started this out. They've obviously come a long way in their journey, but this is something you can achieve too. So how do you actually build this extraordinary brand on Amazon? So that's the big question, isn't it? And what are those building blocks? So firstly, that mindset, and we talked about this at the start. So thinking that you are a brand and Amazon's the distribution channel, that is where this starts. Absolutely, 100%, this is where this whole thinking comes from. Working out who your audience is and dig further than just their Amazon buyers, because I hear that all the time. Who's your target audience? They're the people that are buying on Amazon. It's so much more than that. What's their gender? What do they do every day? Do they have children? Are they married? Do they have pets? Like, who are they? What do they do? What do they like? What are their interests? All those sorts of things. That's really digging into your target audience. What are your offerings going to be? So getting, into thinking quite creatively about those offerings. Creating a whole brand experience for the customer. So that's from them purchasing right through to receiving and even afterwards. Now, that's something that some people will say to you, oh, it's harder on Amazon because there's lots of rules around that. But you can think about, how it's packaged, what comes with it. There are even little simple things like instructions to make it simple for them, that whole experience right through to when they receive that product. Your whole visual representation must be memorable. So when we look back at those two examples, they were definitely that. They stood out and we really can remember them. So this is a bit of an exercise for you to take away. So take a screenshot if you're watching this, because you might not have time to write them all down. But this is a really good exercise to start with. And this is what I do if I do any branding work for anyone. This is kind of a great exercise to start with. So before you start your branding journey, start scoping out what the competition is doing, because that's your starting place. You need to know what's actually happening in the marketplace. So I would suggest to you to find 3 to 5 competing brands that you aspire to be like. So within your niche or your product market, go and find 3 to 5 competing brands and write those down. what would set your brand apart from the competition? So have a look at that 3 to 5 competing brands, and what could you do to be different? You know, is it a visual thing, or is it that your product's just better? And how do you show that off? Does your product come with other things? What is it that could set you apart? Then thirdly, what visual aesthetic draws you to those competing brands? So those 3 to 5 competing brands, what is it visually that draws you in? Because it is usually the visual aspect that really grabs us to start with, because we're all visual. So look at the colors, the textures, the format, the layout. Is it that simple? Is it clean? Is it modern? Is it that you really like sort of soft tones, or you really like those bright and poppy tones because it really was fun and cheerful? What are all those aspects that really stood out to you? And write those down, because you can incorporate them into your own brand in your way. What offers, product, services, or unique qualities caught your eye when you were researching the competition? So what were they offering? What was the products? What was the service or the unique qualities? So note those things down. So that's a great starting point if you've got that just on one piece of paper. Doing that competition research is what is doing more than most sellers will do. So think about it like that. Then we want to start going through this whole transformation process from that just a product seller to an extraordinary brand on Amazon. So that's going from where you are now. So right now, sitting here listening to this, you're deciding, do I actually want to be a brand? You should be thinking yes for all the reasons, but you need to be sitting there thinking, is that the path that I want to go on? Then you're going to move into the progression stage, and this is understanding your brand better. So this is working out your brand strategy, the visual elements, the design and packaging, the copywriting styles, so the tone of voice. You're then going to move into the growth strategy space, and this is where you take everything that you did in the progression stage and you roll it out. So you actually implement it. So that might be updating your images on Amazon. That might be rewriting the copy to have the right tone of voice. That might be redoing your A+ and your storefront to all look visual and cohesive across everything. So it's rolling all of that out. And then once you've rolled that out, you start to grow, and that's when you start to get into that extraordinary brand stage. And when you're in that stage, that's when you're focusing on the marketing and the growth. Always looking at ways to scale. So how can you make your brand even better than what it is? Because I'm pretty sure that Ethique and Yeti didn't just start out and stay there. They were always growing. What was the next thing they could do to their brand to make it better? And you really want to show the world what your brand is all about. That's what you want to get out there. I would say to you, if you think about your product and you're a little bit embarrassed to show your friends and family what you're selling, then you need to pause and go, okay, I really need to work on the branding. Because once you've got that beautiful branding around it, you could have the most simple product that you will be proud to show people. And if you don't feel like that at the moment, then you've got a little bit of a problem and you need to go back and start thinking about how you can create that brand around it. So do you want to know the secret formula to building a extraordinary brand? So these are all the steps in that progression stage. This is how you actually do it. So let's jump into that. These are the 3 main steps that you need to take and you need to have implemented for your strategy to build an extraordinary brand. So this is all the dot points. Now we could dig right into this, but we don't have time to go fully into it. But take a screenshot of this as well. These are the 3 things that you need to achieve. So you need to start firstly with your brand strategy. A brand strategy involves, it can be a document, it can be a PDF, something you create on Canva. You can just write it out on a Word document, anything like that. You need to have your brand discovery, your competitor research, which we talked about how we start to do that. Who's your target audience? What's your brand voice? So are you witty? Are you serious? What's your brand voice? Brand message and story. So Ethique's story was all about being eco-friendly. What's your brand story? Is it about, making things easier for the customer in their everyday life? Whatever that brand story might be. It doesn't have to be complex, but what is that story? You're then going to move to stage 2 in the middle here, and that's the brand identity. And this is what most people love about branding, and this is the creative space. So this is making sure you have a logo. You've got a tagline if you can possibly get one, so you can come up with something creative. You know that what your colors and fonts are. You know what your image panel designs are going to be like. So that might be you have borders, or you have your logo always goes in the corner. It can be really simple little details like that. You start to look at what your A+ content's going to be like around your branding. What's your storefront? So everything's starting to look cohesive. Do you have video, and how is that going to look? What's your advertising going to be like? What's your print going to be like? So if you do any little, printouts or inserts, anything like that, what does that look like? And what does your packaging look like? So all of those brand identity aspects, so that when someone sees your brand, they know it's you. And the third thing you need to start to achieve is that brand marketing. So this is showing up on Amazon is the first huge step to this. So the fact that you're already on Amazon, if you're already selling or you're thinking about it, but just showing up there, that's where your customers are. That's where the audience is. So that's the first part of marketing. PPC and advertising. So that's the next part of it. You can implement that as part of your marketing strategy. It could also incorporate promotions, Amazon Live, off Amazon ads, which I think Amy was talking about earlier. So, looking at Google ads and all of that, even your social media. So that could be something like Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, all of those kinds of things. So if you can achieve all of those three aspects, you are going to turn yourself into just a product that you're selling on Amazon to actually being a brand that's not just an ordinary brand, but an extraordinary brand. So we talked about this throughout the whole thing, but I thought I'd put a little slide in here about keeping things cohesive. So this is about making all those connections so that you can look on every aspect of where you're selling and showing up, and we know that you're all part of one brand. So I just wanted to pop that in there. This is also really important to think about the psychology of this and the customer's experience. So customers really care about their own desires, and they want to know how your product is going to help them achieve their desired outcome. So you always need to have them at the forefront of your mindset when you're building out your brand strategy, and when you're going through that winning formula, you need to be thinking about all of those things. You must connect with your customer audience, and you want to try and make that emotional connection with them as well. And you really want to be working towards building a brand that can cultivate long-term and meaningful and sustainable customer relationships. So you want them to come back to you. You want to be that person that, like we said at the start with the quote from Jeff Bezos, you want them to be talking about you in that room, and saying all those wonderful things. You want them to come back. You want those repeat purchases. You want to know that when they come to buy your type of product, you're the only one out there that they're going to buy from. They're not going to go to any other competition. And this is just a really good example visually for us to see. This is a brand that show up on Amazon and they do really, really well, but they also have really strong social media. And I just sort of wanted to show you this cohesiveness that comes across everything and the quality in which they are doing it. So we can actually see here, like, this is their social media, this is their A+, this is their storefront, these are their ads, this is a video. They've literally done the whole lot. This is their images. And they haven't just stuck up an image where it was just the product itself. They've put the beautiful packaging behind, to even show this was an image to show the size. It's a little bit small for you to see, but they had, a perspective. So they had the hand under there showing it. So these are really good examples of someone that has really worked on this brand strategy to make sure that they stand out in a very competitive niche. This is a hugely competitive niche on Amazon. And if you go on there and you look up these kinds of Italian coffee presses, you'll see that there are so many of them. But the quality in which you see, they've got videos of how to use it, how to set it up, the best ways to look after it, all those questions they have answered. And they've got all of that in their brand strategy. So their messaging is really strong. So when you show up on the marketplace and you're looking for a product, you're going to straight away go to them rather than competitor, which you don't trust because you don't think that they're branded. So I think that's a good example for you to see in one space. So we're going to wrap it up now, but in conclusion, the winning formula to go from the Amazon seller to the extraordinary brand are all of these stages. So this is building a positive brand experience, forming that customer trust, creating that value, and becoming recognizable, and building and growing a loyal following along the way. So in conclusion, you are the creator of your brand. You know it best, so you need to show up and show the world. And I think that is really important to mention, that you're the only one that can really show the world what your brand is all about and how wonderful it can be. And I want you to know that you can have the most simple product and still do this. It doesn't have to be a groundbreaking product that no one's ever seen before. You can do this with the most simple product. And probably looking at that coffee press, that Italian coffee press, is a good example of that. It's not something groundbreaking. They've been around for a long time, but they've created something amazing from it so that the world can see how good they are. So I'm going to leave you with all of that information about branding and why you should start to implement it. And if you do want to find me, I'm mostly on Instagram at the moment. So you can find me under my brand Smart Little Space. And I'm helping product brands launch and grow on Amazon. So if you want to check me out on Instagram, that's probably the best place to find me at the moment. Or you can find me on my website as well. So I'm just going to minimize those slides there. And stop sharing my screen, I think. There we go.
Fantastic. Yeah, Verity, that was amazing. That was absolutely incredible. And I've been taking notes as well as I've been listening.
Oh,
So guys, if you have any questions for Verity, type them in the comments now. And yeah, it's very fascinating, Verity. You know, when we think about brands and branding, usually you think about the big companies, you know, Nikes and all of those big companies, and branding just seems like such a huge kind of exercise and very expensive. And you know, how can a small entrepreneur, you know, like an Amazon seller or somebody who starts as an Amazon seller, how can somebody like that build a cohesive, recognizable brand? But yeah, I mean, what you presented really makes sense. It's not that difficult. It's not that challenging. All you need to do is just think about what exactly you want your brand to stand for, and then, you know, just go step by step and do it from there. And there's so many examples of these smaller companies that have started that way, like Yeti. That's, I think, a great example. Another example is Anchor. I mean, they started as a very small company, and they initially were only selling on Amazon, but yeah, that's what they did. They had great products, great branding, and now they are like one of the biggest electronic companies out there.
Very true.
Very fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something you don't have to be. I think it's important to remember that there's someone behind the brand. There's always someone behind it. And they are often a one-man band. You don't have to have this huge team to create this amazing brand. Some of the best brands I've ever worked with, they are a really small team that they're just really dug deep into what their messaging is about, what they want to create. And you can use tools like Canva, and, you know, you don't have to be getting out there to do something that's, you know, like amazing and spending, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars. You can keep it simple. There's lots of templates on Etsy that you can buy about branding if you want, you know, to use a template to design your strategy. So it doesn't have to be this overwhelming, expensive project that you work on.
Yeah, fascinating. So Verity, you work with a lot of companies and, you know, help them launch on Amazon. So in terms of branding, what are some of the common mistakes that you see companies making?
What are some of the common mistakes? Well, a lot of the brands that I've worked with are fairly established already, and they know the direction that they're going in. But often brands that are starting to go into this space, some of the common mistakes is that they don't know the direction in which they're going. So they don't know who their target market is really clearly. And that's a big problem. When we don't know who it is that we're really marketing to, a lot of the direction that we're going to go in starts to fall away. And then what happens is, if you're trying to build out a product range and you're trying to think about it from a bigger perspective, you suddenly don't know the angle in which you're going in, because you don't know your target market properly. So you don't know, would they prefer to buy two? Do they prefer certain colors? Would they actually prefer a product that's not exactly like yours, but it's got similar aspects to it? And so it makes it a lot harder for you to grow your range. And what I see happen then is that brands will suddenly go and buy products that are non-related. They're just picking random things. But if you're building a brand, you want to try and keep within your niche. You can build multiple brands together. Like you can build multiple brands all at once, but you want to try and keep them within their niche group. But if you don't understand your target market audience properly, which is probably one of the biggest things I see, and when I dig into it and we talk about it, brands don't know that. They don't know what the next product should be, what they're telling, what their story is, what their strategy is going to be, what are the colors you would choose, what are the fonts that people would want to, look at. You think about Nike, you think about McDonald's, you think about all those big brands that are out there. They really know who their target audience is and who they're selling to, and then they're providing to that audience. So really get clear on that it's not the Amazon customer. It's actually who is that individual as a person.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So guys, check out Verity's website, smartlittlespace.com, or follow her on Instagram. She's been posting a lot of good content there. I'm following you on Instagram as well.
Oh, Verity. Good. Yeah, lots of good content coming up.
Yes. So Verity, thank you so much for your time here today. It was a great presentation. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. And for everyone listening today, thank you. I really appreciate the time to sit and listen. And if you've got any questions or you want to reach out to me, feel free to email me or find me on Instagram. Thanks so much, Megla. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Verity. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Okay, so let's move on to the next presentation for today, which is a bit different. It's not really one of those tactical presentations where we're going to be giving you tips and strategies on how to increase sales on Amazon, but this is more about mindset if you're an entrepreneur. So I'm going to invite my next guest on stage, Cameron Allen from Cameron Allen Coaching. Hi, Cameron. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Cameron, so excited for your presentation. And let's get straight into it. So we're going to be talking about mindset strategies for entrepreneurs. So do you want to start sharing your screen? And once you have your slides, you can do an introduction and tell people about yourself after you've started sharing your slides as well.
Thank you. I'll just share my slides now. It's interesting. I was enjoying that presentation on branding because I've just hired a personal branding coach myself. Okay. So all of that was resonating with what she was saying to me as well. And it's something I never thought about for so long. And I've just within a few sessions of working with my coach, I have seen how powerful it is.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And from a different angle, of course, with the brand, a product versus a service, but still very similar.
Exactly.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So I'll just firstly introduce myself. So my name's Cameron. I'm from the Gold Coast.
Do you want to just go full screen? Sorry. Do you want to just go full screen? Yeah. Press the play. Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah.
Looking good. So cool. So before I get into this presentation on procrastination, I just wanted to introduce myself. And I just want to make sure, could you still hear me then, Megla?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Sorry, when I pressed play, all of my audio went away. So.
Oh, no, you're good. We can hear you.
Okay, cool. So, yes, here we go. So, my presentation today will be, procrastination, perfectionism are roughly the same things. They come from the same place. But before I go into the presentation, I just wanted to, share a bit about myself. And without going into my life story, I just wanted to share that I'm from the Gold Coast in Australia. My name's Cameron. About 3 years ago, I came to the realization, it was actually through launching a product in the e-commerce space. Through that journey, through that kind of struggle and challenge, the journey that you go on sourcing a product and working so hard to, move through those steps. I went through that myself, and it was actually during that time that I realized there were, probably for a 10-year period of my life, I went through these phases of being inspired and wanting to do certain businesses and certain blogs and YouTube channels and all this sort of stuff, right? But I never did it. I had never actually did it. So I had lots of ideas, but I would never follow through. And what got me, this is sort of what got me curious. I wondered, why is that? Why do we why do we say we want to do one thing, but we don't do it? Or why do we say we're going to, change our diet, but we do the opposite? Or we're going to eat healthy and then we don't do it? Like it's right there in front of us. We have all the knowledge. We have all the knowledge in the world of even launching a product on Amazon, right? There's so many programs and step-by-step guides. So if you're sitting there today watching this and you know that you've got a step-by-step guide in front of you, but there's certain things you're putting off, there's a fair chance it could be for this reason. This presentation could be for you. So yeah, when I realized that, I got super frustrated for a start. And when I went through that myself, it was obviously very painful to realize, oh my goodness, I've wanted to do all these things, but I haven't done them. But the curiosity in me just wanted to know why that is. So I started learning about the subconscious mind and how 90% of our behaviors are affected by our past experiences. And that's where this presentation comes in. So I went on a journey. Of learning about myself, and then that's when my business evolved as a coach. So what I wanted to share to you today within 30 minutes, obviously it's a very short amount of time for dealing with such, sometimes an issue that's been going on for years and years and years, is 3 simple steps to identify and overcome procrastination. So let's get into it. So step 1, so identify. If you are wanting to do something but you're not doing it, so that is procrastination. That's what everyone calls procrastination. You've got this to-do list and you want to do certain things on that to-do list, but you keep putting off certain things. There's a reason for that. There's a deeper reason for that. So what you need to do to start off with is identify what the outcome and result is that you want. So when you're thinking about your Amazon business, and the branding presentation before was super powerful. It's like you're thinking of the big picture. You're thinking years and years in advance. When you're building a brand, that's like a decade-long, process. As in, you're setting up a brand for the long term. So what are your macro goals? What do you actually want from this Amazon business? Then you've got to think about, if you really want that macro goal, if you actually really want it, then you would do anything to get it. Isn't that right? Like you would, it's going to create a better life for yourself, more money, more time, more freedom, more connection to your kids, all that sort of stuff, right? So that's going to be very powerful. It's going to feel really good. So then why don't we do it? Some people do, some people don't. But if you're listening to this and this is hitting home, then really listen in. So start to think about, what are your micro goals? So with the macro, I'm talking about the big picture. There's obviously a lot of pleasure in that. It feels really good. So when we're feeling inspired and we're thinking about this life at 10 years in advance, we're feeling really good and we're feeling really inspired and motivated. So that's very pleasurable. But if you're putting things off, if you're saying you want that but you're not doing it, then somewhere along the lines, you have associated some kind of pain within your mind of the micro steps to get there. So the micro steps could be, putting yourself out there. It could be joining a mastermind and speaking up in front of everyone. A lot of people have a fear around, asking the wrong question and all this sort of stuff. Or it might be reaching out to a supplier and asking the wrong question, or it might be failing. It might be actually, I don't want to fail. So there's some kind of pain in failing. There could be some kind of pain in succeeding, which makes no sense, right? But it's a subconscious thing. It's not really conscious all the time. So with those micro activities that you're putting off, there is some kind of pain associated to that. And it's not the activity, it's not the reaching out to the supplier or putting yourself out there in the mastermind. It's the feeling around that. So if you've been taking notes, that's wonderful. What you want to do now is look at, within those things you're putting off, what is it that you're worried about feeling? So say it is that you don't want to launch a product on Amazon and lose money. So therefore, the pain point is losing money. What's the feeling associated with that? How do you feel if you lose money? Do you feel guilty towards your partner? Do you feel ashamed that you failed? Do you feel frustrated? There's a certain feeling, and in your mind somewhere, there's an association to that feeling is bad. So I don't want to feel that. So therefore, we will procrastinate. No matter how powerful that bigger vision is, we will procrastinate. We will, because our subconscious mind is only looking for the immediate future and not wanting to feel that feeling. So I hope you wrote some stuff down there, and just connect in with yourself and really be honest. If you're thinking about that micro strategy, that micro task, what is it that you don't want to feel? I just want to stop, take my presentation off full screen and check. Megal, is everything still okay? You can hear me?
Yep, everything's good.
Okay, cool. It's just my audio completely turns off once I press play, so I just wanted to make sure. Cool.
Okay, yeah.
All right, any questions so far?
No, we don't have any questions.
Awesome, cool. So now that you have identified that, that should be pretty powerful if you've never thought of that before, because most people think of that if they're avoiding something, they're avoiding failure, or they're avoiding talking to someone, or they're avoiding, doing a brand brief for a product designer or a logo designer, whatever it is that they're avoiding. They think it's the activity, but it's not. It's the feeling around that. Okay? So that has come from somewhere. Like I said at the start, everything we do, 90% of what we do moving forward has been determined by the past and an experience that we've had in the past. So when you think about that example, if you've written something down, that's really great. If you have identified something like, oh, why do I keep putting this off? Okay, what is it that I don't want to feel? Okay, shame, fear, guilt, frustration, whatever it is. Okay, it's an emotion. It's a feeling that you have associated as painful, and you don't want to experience that again. So ask yourself, when did you decide to avoid blank? So when did you decide to avoid that feeling? Did something happen? Did you get told at school over and over and over again, don't fail, it's bad to fail, it's good to succeed, blah, blah, blah. All these stories and beliefs that get formed in those years are very powerful. So think about that thing you're avoiding, the feeling that's associated to it that you have associated as painful, and then ask yourself, when did I decide to avoid this? Now I'm just going to share a little secret, and that is, most of the time, it will come from an experience that we've had with one of our parents, most of the time, or like close family, or someone who you've grown up with and they've been in your life all the time. And you have learnt, usually from a parent, but maybe not, you've learnt that it's bad to feel this, like it's bad to fail. And so you feel shame. You feel shame around failing. So usually it's a parent or someone close to you. So really have a think about that. And the most powerful experiences that shape our beliefs and our fears are the ones that with the most pain, the ones with the most emotion, the most shame, the most guilt, the most anger, the most sadness, the most frustration. The ones that are really shocking, they're really traumatizing, they're usually the ones that will shape us the most. And then sometimes we'll live our whole life based on this event that happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Really think about that. because we hold on to things, especially if they're highly emotional. So find an event in your life when you experienced some kind of pain around this feeling. So then ask yourself, what were you craving is the question I've written there, but what did you need? So say you had an experience where you failed. I don't really use the term failed, but some people call it that, right? So where you've experienced something where it didn't work out, something didn't work out. So what did you actually need? Because maybe one of your parents or a teacher or someone close to you said, "You're stupid. Why'd you do that? You wasted money. Why'd you waste your time? I knew it wouldn't work out." So that's not what you were craving. That caused the pain associated to it. So when you think about that event or that experience or that series of events with parents or teachers, what were you actually needing? Because you can actually, if you identify this, you can actually tell yourself what you need. And you can do it now. I've seen it happen. You don't have to rewire the past. You can just right now tell yourself that you did a good job, that you didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. You're worthy, you're enough, you're successful already. You can actually just tell yourself that now, because that's what you were craving at the time. And maybe you didn't get it, and then that's where the pain point was formed, the association to pain. And the final step, before we get into some questions and comments and conversations. So it is my opinion, and I've worked with lots and lots of people and lots of e-commerce sellers, that it's not about the event. It's not about the experience. It's about the meaning you give it. Okay? So I forget who tells the story, but someone online I was following told the story about, starting a lemonade stand. And their parents laughed at them for starting a lemonade stand. So the meaning that young child is going to give to, being creative, starting a business, offering a service, the meaning that they may have created is that, why bother? It's too hard. It's a silly idea because their parents said so, or their uncle said so, which isn't true. But if you gave something like that meaning like that, this is where people self-sabotage. This is where people have a fear of success. This is where people have a fear of failure as well, because why bother trying? So it's not about the event. It's about the meaning you gave it. And that's what I help people with for a start. Is it's not about, coaching isn't about accountability and setting goals and that sort of stuff to me. It's about helping people change the meaning around some of the things that have happened in their life, because it doesn't necessarily mean what they think it means. And if you change the meaning, then you change someone's whole view of the world. You change their whole perspective. So what I want you to do, if you've been following along, you should have written down some notes by now, but write down the consequences. So say the meaning of this is, why bother? It's too hard. Don't put yourself out there. Failing's bad. Blah, blah, blah. Like stories and beliefs. What I want you to do now is write down the consequences of holding on to that meaning, because it's about the meaning you gave it. Write down the negative consequences. If you just held on to this for another 5-10 years, how would things change? How would things stay the same? That big macro goal you've got for your business in e-commerce, that big macro goal, would that even happen if you kept the meaning going of these events? Maybe not. So what you want to do is pour doubt onto the meaning. So what if you could? What would happen? So start to, you write down a couple of things, or just think of a couple of things now, 2 or 3 things that put into question what meaning you took on from those experiences. You want to really, really, really question everything. I say question everything. But the actual meaning that you've given some things and some experiences in your life, they aren't necessarily true. And if you think about it, we're going through life down a tunnel, and all we can see, the only possibilities we can see, the only goals we can set are within what we have a framework for. And very sadly, I meet people sometimes who have a very limited framework, and it's based on nothing but the past. That's it. There are infinite possibilities for you and your e-commerce business. Infinite. And you've probably seen the stories. I'm sure there's been stories on this summit of people who started with nothing, and they now, have several products and doing really well. So nothing's different between them and you. Nothing. You just need to maybe have a think about the tunnel you're going through, and then change what certain things mean. That's basically it. So if you had the experience in the past of trying to put yourself out there and someone shut you down, that might mean don't put yourself out there again. It might mean there's shame associated to putting yourself out there, reaching out to people. I meet a lot of people who don't want to reach out to anyone. They don't want to reach out to people because they might be seen as not smart enough. The best way to prosper in life is to reach out to people. There's people who have done already what you're trying to do. So if you change the meaning of that, then you're going to create new opportunities. This is where mindset comes in. And like Megla said before I started, like it's probably the most intangible portion of this summit. It's not tangible. It's not like starting a brand and you do this, this, and this. But think about that. To the person who is not reaching out to someone to ask for help, let's just think about that. For the next 5 years, they still hold on to that fear of reaching out to someone. For the next 5 years. How many opportunities do you think that they have missed out on? Probably hundreds. How many opportunities to learn from someone who's done what they're trying to do? Probably hundreds. That could cost that person the business of their dreams. So that's what I want to ask you right now. What if you could tap into that feeling of abundance? What would you change and what fear would go away? If you now could think of the things that are holding you back, you could identify them. You could look at, question whether they're even true and the beliefs that you formed from those events are even true. And then you change the meaning of them. What would that look like? What would that feel like? How would that change your business? Because it's possible. I've seen it on many occasions, and everyone's the same. Everyone has the same potential. In my opinion, everyone has infinite potential. So really, really connect into that. If you got something out of that and you found a way even in the last 30 minutes to identify where you're at and what's holding you back, figured out when that happened and how those beliefs were formed, and you change the meaning, then you're going to change a lot. So let me know if you have figured something out today, gotten something out of that, and I'll just head back to the main room. There we go. Hello.
That's fantastic. Hi, Cameron. Hi back.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Anna is saying so powerful. Thank you. Yeah.
No worries. I really enjoyed that, and as you know, Megla, I did the the 3-hour workshop on the weekend. It's a lot deeper dive, but I feel like in 30 minutes, just going through that, if someone's never heard that before, it can really at least pave the way for different opportunities to change things. So yeah, if there's any questions, if you've got any questions, then I'd love to
Yeah,
hear it.
definitely. So, guys, if you have any questions for Cameron, type them in the comments now. And this is really powerful stuff. I mean, it's not tangible, as Cameron said. It's not, do these 5 steps to increase your sales or get more, revenue or build your brand or anything. This is stuff that is more difficult to deal with, I think, because this is, so personal, and it's at a very, it's very intangible. And sometimes the problem is that we're not even aware that these are issues. I think that's the biggest problem, right, Cameron? I mean, awareness of these issues is, I think, just the biggest challenge.
Absolutely. I think what I would just also add to share as well is the people can get through. Like, you could get through your whole life without really focusing on your mindset and going to a Tony Robbins event or getting some coaching. You could probably get through, but what I've found, and from research has shown, that people like Gary Vee and like all these people who are very successful in business, they all have a coach, because and the reason is, like, yeah, you can get through. And I know people who are doing very, 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 very well in business, and they don't have a coach, or they don't have any kind of mindset strategies, because you can get through. Like, you could push your way through. But like you said, if you don't have awareness of some things, you might take, a year or 2 years to work through something or make progress on something, when it could be literally a month if you find out those exact things that are holding you back. So I think that's a really key point, because a lot of people think, yeah, I'll get by without it. I don't really need to work on that, because I'm sort of getting results here and there, But there's always subtle things that hold people back, and that's like you said, where the awareness comes in.
Right. So Addie Cobb says, thanks, Cameron. Like the way you put it. Reach the guy who did it before and became successful. I am lacking in it. Will reach for sure. Awesome presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's a real strategy behind it, and one of the quickest ways to achieve anything is to find someone who's done the same business or the same, like if I want to run a marathon, if I find someone who's ran a marathon and I get their exact training program, that's going to change my, my success, my results. If you find someone in business who has started a similar brand to you and is getting results that you want, if you can reach out to them and, at least have a chat, you're probably going to fast track your results. And that's why I mentioned that before in the presentation. I thought that was a good example, because a lot of people I come across when I first coach them, they won't reach out for help. And it's because of a past experience, usually, where they've reached out for help and they've been shamed, or they felt not good enough and all that sort of stuff. So they're not doing it again. But they might save a few years by getting the right strategy from someone who has achieved it. So thank you for the comment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also mentioned some people are afraid of succeeding. So why is that, and what can we do about it?
It's a strange phenomenon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, because it goes back to that thing that I said in the presentation, which is we will avoid anything that is looking like it's going to be potentially painful. And I know there's so many people, especially with money, there's so many people who have really disempowering beliefs about money. Like, money's evil, money doesn't grow on trees, money's only for the few, and everyone else has to, there's all these stories around money. So if we have had if we have heard a lot of negative stories about people who are successful and people who make money, then somewhere within our subconscious, there's going to be a negative association to it. The other thing is a lot of people are scared of themselves, like they're scared of their full potential. So when I talk about fear of success, it's not even sometimes about success. It's about changing your identity to a point where you're the one who's doing really well and succeeding. And there's like, at the end of the day, it's some kind of a negative association to success. And that can feel overwhelming to people as well, just as much as failure. Failure feels overwhelming to people because there's loss, there's, maybe shame or guilt about what's happened. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with success as well.
Right. And of course, you work with a lot of Amazon sellers, entrepreneurs, e-commerce sellers, and a lot of these people, they work independently. It's a one-man team or a two-person team just working, solo, and it gets very lonely sometimes, and it's very difficult to stay motivated. So what advice do you have for Amazon sellers, entrepreneurs who who want to stay motivated, and what can they do to just stay positive and stay motivated?
Yeah, I think it's important to know your values for a start. And there's I don't have a free course or on how to find your values, but there are things online where you can find out your values. Because if someone's value, like I've worked with so many people who, once I figured out their values, it was very obvious as to why they weren't happy. And the entrepreneurial journey, or the solopreneur journey, whatever you want to call it, sometimes is not really good for some people. Like sitting at home in front of your computer, for someone whose number one value maybe is connection, for example, and they're in front of their computer all day, that's not going to be healthy for that person at all. So that would be a key thing, is knowing your values, because all the answers to that question you just asked me will lie within that. Because if you need connection, you might need collaboration, you might need outdoors, you might need to schedule an hour a day to go to the beach or go for a walk. It's very basic things. So understanding your values and what's important to you is very important, because all the answers will lie in that, because you can then structure your day and start to collaborate or whatever with people to match your values. That's one thing. The second thing I would say is somehow connect to your bigger vision every day. So when I talked about the macro goals in the start of the presentation, and Megla, we did this with the workshop the other day, like the powerful morning question is, if you wake up every day and you read a question out loud to yourself that reminds you of your bigger picture, your macro goal, and what the business will mean to you long term and your family. If you don't do that, then you'll just you'll be doing your emails, you'll be doing this, you'll be doing that, you'll just be busy, and you'll forget why you're doing it. So once a day at least, or twice a day, connecting into your bigger picture, and then understanding your values, and adjusting your day and your week to make sure that your values are being met, that's gonna be life-changing.
Yeah, totally makes sense. And also working with entrepreneurs, Amazon sellers, what do you think are some of the things that hold people back? What are some of the common, mistakes that people make, or the common mind blocks that people have that, hold them back from achieving their full potential?
Yep. So unfortunately, it's probably perfectionism. Yeah. There's lots of things that come under perfectionism, but in the most simple, tangible way I could explain what that is, it would be, it needs to be perfect. So it needs to be the perfect product. I need to send the perfect email so that but all of these issues are coming from the past, because everyone knows intellectually that nothing's ever going to be perfect. We're probably going to have times where there's a bad product or not a good supplier or whatever. We know that intellectually, but if there's a subconscious avoidance of any kind of failing or a challenge, then we're trying to make everything perfect. And, you know, there's that problem is also connected to self-doubt. It's also connected to what I said in the webinar about, you know, negative emotions like shame and guilt. Because if I don't get it perfect, then it might be wrong and I might lose money, and then my partner might start asking questions, and all of this is going on in your subconscious mind. So then you might just avoid doing certain things for like a month. It'll be on the bottom of the to-do list. We always talk about that, right? So, and then it just never gets done because people still are worried about the consequences of not getting it perfect. So that's a huge thing. And fear, of course. And fear is woven into that perfectionism thing that I just said. But yeah, I work with people who in Amazon who are, you know, doing 100K months and all this sort of stuff, and they still have fear. There's all those fears still exist, and it's just identifying those fears and where they come from every time, because every time you get to a new level, there's a new unknown, and we don't like unknowns. No one likes unknowns. We humans love certainty, and within the e-commerce space, that's what I've seen is there's a lot of uncertainty, and that can overwhelm people.
Right. Yeah, and I think for Amazon sellers, especially people who are just starting out, the biggest fear is selecting the wrong product and losing all our money. A lot of Amazon sellers, put in their savings into this business, or they've, taking a big risk by launching products. So how do you think people should let go of those fears? I mean, of course, there is risk in any business that a person does. If you don't take risks, then there are no rewards in a business. But what are some tips that you have for people to let go of those fears and to, be more confident in taking the plunge?
Yeah, so my advice, and this is something really powerful for everyone, is if you have a fear of, you've put in 20 grand to this Amazon business, it's out of your savings, it's maybe borrowed money, all of these sorts of things.
Yeah.
If you have, and you've got a fear of losing that, my question would be turning that fear on its head. So do you have a fear of, trying something really powerful and losing 20 grand? Or do you have a fear of doing the same thing you've always done for another 20 years and not being happy? What's more painful? And as soon as I say that to people, they're like, okay, I'm going to do the product. I'm going to do that business, because all your subconscious mind is thinking about is the consequence of, if this happens, I'm going to lose money. I've got a fear of that. And I come in as a coach. I'm like, well, okay, we'll go back and do your job and stay there for another 20 years. And they're like, okay, no, I'll do the product. Because then what I do there is I get their subconscious and themselves to focus on a different fear. Because there's fears everywhere. You could be afraid of anything. And if I can get you to tap into, what happens if you don't do this business? What happens if you stay the same for another 10 years? Then immediately you'll be like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Yeah. So for everyone listening, to answer the question in the most tangible possible way, I would say if you've got a fear of failure, you want to just check in with what else could you possibly do? What else are you going to do? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do this business? And the worst case is losing 20 grand or whatever, or are you going to not do it? Do you, what's worse? Because if you don't do it, then nothing's going to change in your life.
Exactly. And Addie Carper saying, absolutely, being too perfect is also dangerous. Well said. For me, starting is difficult. Once started, we'll go in full swing. Bang.
Love it.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Cool. Well, Cameron, thank you so much for your time today. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I'm sure our audience has found this very, very valuable. So, guys, check out Cameron's website, cameronallen.com.au. And yeah, once again, Cameron, thank you so much for sharing all of this information.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure again, and I'll speak to you soon.
Take care, Cameron. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so with that, we conclude the presentations for today, but our session is not done yet. We are now going to be talking to a couple of suppliers from China, and we're going to be featuring some suppliers on the show. They're going to be talking about their companies, they're going to be introducing their companies, and they're also going to be showing some of their products. So if you're interested in any of the products that you see today on the show, you will be able to contact the suppliers directly. And all of these suppliers are global sources advertisers, so they are verified suppliers by global sources, and they are export focused. So let me invite our first supplier on stage, Alan from Xiamen Golden Way Enterprises. So Alan, are you ready to come on stage? I can just see that Alan is on the phone. I just want to make sure that she's ready to come on stage. Just give me a second over here. I don't want her to be live and talking on the phone. Alan, are you ready to come on stage? I think she's not able to listen to me. Okay, so Alan, I'm going to bring you live on stage now. So let's get started. So here we are, Alan from Xiamen Golden Way. Hi,
Yes.
Alan. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Thanks
you.
a lot for joining us, Alan. So, Alan, really nice to have you here. Which city are you joining us from? Are you from Xiamen?
Yes, I'm from Xiamen. My company
Okay.
is based in Xiamen.
Xiamen. Okay. Xiamen is a beautiful city. I've been there a long time ago. Very beautiful. Okay. So, Alan, tell us about your company. Give an introduction about your company.
My company was established in year 1999. We are very loyal customer for global sources. We already on cooperation with global sources starting from year I think 2000. So it's over 20 years already in global sources. So my company was established in year 1999. So we start from import and export company, and later on we have our own production. We build our own factory and have our own production. Our main products is garments and bags. Okay, so we
Okay.
focus we focus currently on the garments of sports garments, yoga garments. We also have a very strong team for swimwear collections. So we have our swimwear, sportswear, and yoga wear, and also we have our own bags factory. We do sports bag, school bags, and yoga bags. And now we have developed many new designs for bags, eco-friendly, made in craft paper, in cork, in RPET, recycled materials. Also, the garments of the sportswear and the swimwear we also make in RPET, recycled materials. So
Okay.
eco-friendly.
Yeah, that's really good. And so can you tell us more about, what kind of R&D does your company do, and what kind of product designs does your company launch?
We have our own designers. We have our own designers in our developing of a sampling room. For
Okay.
every year, we have over 100 designs every year for fashion designs, and sometimes also we have our customer is sending us their design. So we do both OEM and ODM, and our company have passed SEDEX audit. Disney audit. So we produce also many licensed caricature products for the customers, especially for Disney and all other licensed.
Okay. And you have the license for those products, right? So if a buyer buys those products from you, then they don't have to get the license because you have the license from Disney. Is
We
that
are
correct?
just a licensed authorized producer. We don't have the license. So the buyer must have the license. They must buy the license from the licensee, and then they place order with us because we are licensee approved manufacturer.
Okay. I see.
Mm.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And do you want to tell us about your factory? How big is your factory? How many employees do you have? Anything else that you want to tell us about your factory setup?
The factory is our factory is about 10,000 square meters. 10,000 square meters. We have dormitory for workers, also for the working shop, for the R&D, and also have a building for the office. So it's independent buildings for our own company. And the setup, do you mean the department?
Yes, the departments and how many employees do you have? What kind of equipment, machinery?
We have we have a machine. We have a department of uh, garments department, bags department, marketing department, and R&D department, logistic department, and then the bags factory, and the bags factory, and the garments factory. Of course, the financial department. So it's separated by different departments. We have about 200 workers, generally about 200 workers in our own factory.
Okay, that's great. And
Mm.
how do you manage your quality control? What kind of processes do you have for QC? And how many QC staff do you have in your company?
We have about 10 independent QC. Some QC is online, and some QC is after the goods QC after the goods is finished. So the goods are 100% inspected after the goods they are finished before packaging, and after packaging we still have independent QC, either our own QC or customers third party QC. They come and inspect, and the usual quality standard is according to AQL 2.5 for major, and minus 4.0. This is the international standard for our bags and garments, the usual. Yeah. And of course, sometimes we make adjustment according to different customer requirement.
Okay, that's fantastic. And
Mm.
what are your main export markets? Which markets do you mainly export to?
Our market is quite varied. Mostly are Europe, South Africa, Australia, and European, and also
Okay,
UK. Mm.
okay, great. And what kind of buyers do you mostly have? Are your buyers mostly like retailers or brands or physical stores or online sellers? What kind of buyers do you have?
Um, Currently, our main customers, some part are distributors, license
Okay.
holder, and some of them are retailers. Most of them currently, most of them have their shops. They have shops, retail shops. And some are importers, wholesalers, and they sell to retail shops. They make the design, make all the follow up, and then they sell to retail shops. So both importer, distributor, and the retailer directly.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, Alan, do you want to show some of your products to our audience here? Do you have any product samples that you want to show?
Okay, I just figure out some of the products we are currently doing now. This is
Yeah.
the licensed products for kids swimwear.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty. That is really
Yes.
beautiful.
This what we are doing every day.
Yeah. So what material is that made from?
This is the nylon elastane. Nylon elastane or polyester is elastane, and these are overall. This like a serving, uh,
Ah,
serving top. Yeah. Mm.
surfing top.
For
Okay.
yeah, so serving a set and UV protection. It's with UV protection on Sunday or on summer.
Okay.
And these are for adult yoga pants.
And what material is this?
Nylon elastane and polyester elastane.
Okay.
Okay, yoga pants.
Right.
Fashion.
And
Very fashion.
yeah, that looks really nice. And are the prints customizable? So can a buyer give their own design for printing?
Yes, they can give their own designs for printing, for the printing and the size. Sometimes they can have their own design, or they use our design and then make some changes according to their market requirements. Also the printing. We also have yoga bags. 这个黑色的不太好那个。Okay, these are part of our bags. So we are very
what
strong also on the
Yeah.
bags designs.
What material
Okay.
is this?
This is polyester materials.
Okay.
This is the yoga bags. So now it's very hot products for the yoga and sports practice. Okay.
Do you also have eco-friendly materials for yoga bags?
Yes. In craft paper.
Okay.
Eco-friendly craft paper products like a wallet, like iPad cover, yoga bags can be made in craft paper.
Right. So
Yeah.
what exactly is craft paper? Can you tell us more about this material? Like, is it really paper? And, how is it?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Craft
So
paper
yeah,
from wood. Actually, we made normally we made from the imported craft paper made from Germany, from Sweden, from Europe, and most of them are very strong, and it's very strong and eco-friendly. So this kind of bags, and this is um, recycled canvas, and this kind of backpack made by craft paper is quite a fashion. The material is very strong. It's even more strong than the fabric when it is
Oh,
wear stitched, and it's water repellent. And this is washable. So craft paper, you can wash it and dry it and reuse because it is washable.
oh, so but it is still paper, but has it been coated with something to make it water repellent?
It is not quoted exactly. During the process of technique, they make it waterproof.
Okay.
It is not, yeah. Actually, 有没有涂层 No quoted, no quoted. Because sometimes it's some kind of technique makes it waterproof and very strong and durable. You can wash it, and then later on it has a little bit like a crinkle effect. Crinkle effect makes it like a leather. When you use it, when it is old, it's like leather. And also you can DIY. The kids can make it DIY, or the young people DIY the bag on the paper and make it unique
Right.
looking. Yes, so eco-friendly and can be DIY, and it is very strong and water repellent and is washable.
Right.
什么？
Okay, that's fantastic. So, guys, if you want more information about Shaman Golden Way, then check out their website on globalsources.com. Here's the URL that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen, globalsources.com/gnw.co. So you can definitely check out their products there. Very cool products made from craft paper. And you can send inquiries directly to Shaman Golden Way if you're interested in any of their products. So, Alan, thank you so much for your time today. And it was really nice
Thank you.
seeing your products.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
All right, so let's move on to our second supplier now who's waiting backstage. I'm going to invite Rachel and Joy from Liaoning Dongshen. Hi, Rachel and Joy. How are you doing? Oh, did they just get disconnected? I think they just got disconnected. Let's just give them a couple of minutes to connect again. Thanks for your patience, guys. Let's just give the supplier a couple of minutes to get connected again. I think they've got some connectivity issues over there. Maybe the Wi-Fi got disconnected or there were some other issues. So let's just give them a couple of minutes and they are back. Okay, Rachel and Joy. Yes, you're back. Hi, how are you? Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining us over here today, Rachel and Joy. So, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Okay. Rachel, first, simple introduce our company. Liaoning Dongshen is located in Inkou of Liaoning Province in China, founded in 1999. Is a collection of biological degradable materials, fresh keeping materials for agricultural products, environmental protection, packaging products manufacturing, data measures as environmental production, new materials development, Liaoning Province packaging products export industry alliance, import and export trade platform in one comprehensive group company.
Okay, great.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
At present, it has 12 suppliers and 800 employees in 2019. The company achieved sales revenue of RMB 1.538 billion, tax of RMB 61 million, and total import and export value of USD 130 million. Okay, Rachel, next. Dongshen industry covers an area of more than 17,000 square meters, with the largest intelligent factory in Asia, including 120 sets of equipment, such as the Cornell centralized feeding system, imported from the United States. Taiwan imported blow printing equipment, the 8-color printing machine, the high-speed bed-making machine, the characteristic bed-making machine, and the casting machine. And Dongshen industry has cutting-edge research and development technology, advanced production and testing equipment, strong financial strength, professional technical personnel, perfect management system in the production management and new product development ability, has a wealth of experience, continue to provide customers with the most cost-effective products and intimate service. That's all.
Right. That's all. Okay, awesome. And which export markets do you mostly export to? Which countries do you mostly export to?
England and the USA and the Germany, Japan, and France, and other country. Yes.
Okay, so mostly US and Europe. Those are the main countries, right? Okay, great. And what about your certifications? Like, are there any certifications that your products have? So you're mostly selling biodegradable plastic bags.
Yeah. We have the the circle and the BPI, TUV.
So what certification is this?
What? Pardon?
What certification is this?
This is in circle. The circle for biodegradable bikes.
Okay, for biodegradable products.
Like the Europe system. Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
And the other is the BPI, is the for US certificate. You can see the yes.
Yeah.
You can see this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can see that certificate. Okay.
BPI, yeah. For the
that's
US,
BPI.
for US market, maybe most of the customer maybe need the certification for BPI, right?
Okay, great.
Most of customer maybe ask the ASTM 6400. Yes.
Okay, great. And so Rachel and Joy, do you want to show some of the products that you have? What are some of the new products that you want to show?
This is our drawstring bag. This is its string. Point breaking.
Right.
It is
And what material is this?
HDPE, polyethylene.
Okay. And is this biodegradable or no?
It's the PE, not biodegradable.
Okay.
For this t-shirt bike, it's the biodegradable bike. Yeah. This is the compostable. You can see our logo, Tongsheng.
Okay. So this one is biodegradable.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the MOQ for these biodegradable bags?
Maybe 1,000 pieces bikes we can do.
Oh, 1,000 pieces. So that's not bad.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. So guys watching, do you have any questions for Rachel and Joy about their products? So this is a company that specializes in plastic bags, biodegradable plastic bags, trash and lawn bags, and also food safe bags, right? You also make food safe bags. Okay, what other products do you want to show us? What's this?
Yeah. This is a garbage bag. It is compostable. Bike and roll. Compostable, bike and roll, trust bike, biodegradable bike.
Okay. And how long does it take?
Another system, another steel thing.
How long does it take for this bag to biodegrade?
Maybe 3 months.
Okay.
3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
Yes.
And then for these kinds of bags, what's the MOQ?
MOQ is 100 rolls.
100 rolls. Okay.
Yes.
And with that MOQ, you can also do any printing or any customization that anybody might want.
Yes, we can. According to your requirement, you can tell me your size and thickness. The last ones we can do according to your requirement. Do any printing, we can do any color. Is the red color, black color, any color we can do according to your requirement. Okay.
Okay. And is the price for certain colors more expensive than other colors, or are all the colors the same price?
Yeah. No, not the same price. If the color is the more the one color is the price maybe lower. If the two color or 3 and 4 and more is the very maybe experience than this.
Okay, great. Do you have any other products that you want to show us, Rachel and Joy?
Another yes, we have.
Yeah.
Right on that. That's okay. Let me show you. 你可以上吗？你可以介绍这种公关画。This is diatom mat. Yeah, that mat
Is this a table mat?
And not for table, it's for the bathroom.
It's for the bathroom. Is the demo to the. You can this.
It absorbs water smoothly and very quickly.
Okay, so this is a bathroom mat, like a floor mat, right?
Yes. And also can be a small size and do the solder mat. Solder mat, do you know, is for your home. If you wash your hand, then you can shove it and put it on this mat.
Okay. And what material is this made from?
It's the ultimate meal.
Okay.
We have our meal of the in Mongolia. It's our ore factory.
Oh, okay. And what's the MOQ for these products? 500 pieces. And approximately what's the price range? Approximately.
$3 to $5 for one piece.
$3 to $5
Of course,
for one piece.
according to the size. Maybe the smaller, maybe the cheaper than this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that looks very water absorbent, right? I mean, when you were spraying water on it, then it really absorbed the
It's
water.
the new
so
material. Yes, the very fast choking.
Yeah. And so is this for the floor? Can you keep this on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it anti-slip?
Easy to not leave stain.
Not leaf stain. But it is
Yeah.
is it anti-slip?
Yes.
Yeah, the backing is anti-slip. Okay. Great. So, yeah, guys watching, do you have any questions for Rachel and Joy about their products over here? They've got biodegradable plastic bags, they've got trash and lawn bags, food wraps, and also this very water absorbent bath mat, and that can also be used in the bathroom and other places in the home. Okay, what else do you have to show us? Certified compostable bag. Yes, awesome. So you've got the certification for this in case a buyer requires that. You have the certification for this bag as well. Great. Awesome. Any more products that you would like to show Rachel and Joy?
Teaser bag for the supermarket. Thank you bag. The thank you for the shop. Teacher shopping bag. Teacher shopping bag.
Right.
Any candle bag we can do, right? You know, the PE, the teacher bag, the trash bag, and the biodegradable, the teacher bag, biodegradable teacher bag, and the biodegradable trash bag or roll. That's all our product.
Yep, that's a great range. And it's really good that you specialize in these products. So, people can be sure that you are the experts in these kinds of biodegradable and plastic bags. And you also have food wraps, right? So you have food grade products as well?
Yes,
You
we
can make
have.
food. Okay.
We can do the made with food bags. And
Food
let me
bags
show
as
you,
well.
okay?
Yeah, sure. So guys, if you want more information about Liaoning Dongsheng, you can go look for their
The food bags.
okay, so these are the food bags and
We can show you. Packaged with box. Food bag.
okay. And do these also come with a certification?
Yes,
Food
we have
safety
the
certification?
FDA for to the US.
Okay.
FDA. It's the DV certificate.
Okay, so this is for FDA certification
Yeah.
for the food bags. Okay, fantastic. This is great. Thank you so much, Rachel and Joy, for showing your products. So, all of you watching, check out their website on globalsources.com. You can see the URL at the bottom of your screen. So, go to globalsources.com/dongshengindustry.co, or you can just go to the Global Sources website and search for Liaoning Dongsheng to see all of the information about their bags. And you can also send inquiries to them directly from their website. Well, Rachel and Joy, thank you so much for joining us today, and you have a great day ahead.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Take photo this. Okay.
All right, so that was the supplier Dongsheng, Liaoning Dongsheng, and let's go ahead and invite our next supplier on stage, Alice from Shenzhen Wolfguard Security High Tech. Hi, Alice. How are you doing? Alice, you're muted. Do you want to unmute? Alice, we can't hear you still. You have to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you now. Perfect.
Nice. Okay.
How are you,
Good morning.
Alice?
I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well too. Okay, Alice, so do you want to tell us about your company, Shenzhen Wolfguard Security High Tech? And you've also sent me 2 videos that we are going to be playing. So maybe you can do a brief introduction about the company, and then I'll start playing the first video, which is the company video, right?
Okay, sure. So
Yes.
our company name. Okay, let's begin. Hi everyone, I'm Alice from Wolfguard, and our company brand is Wolfguard. We based in Shenzhen, China, and Wolfguard is a professional alarm security products manufacturer for 23 years. It has an advanced concept in product development, strong capacity in R&D and production. So since 1998, we manufacture for alarm products. So we focus on this area for 23 years. We make the alarm security from siren alarm to telephone alarm, and from GSM alarm to 4G alarm. Till now, we use the Wi-Fi technology to make the Wi-Fi alarm and also the SaaS platform service for security. So like anything about alarm, emergency alarm, smart home alarm, Zigbee alarm, and we are the best and the most professional option for you. So we support OEM and ODM, and according to clients' request. So like our products widely used in home, community, office, shop, school, hotel, parking, hospital, and also it will used in transportation, disaster prevention, power safety management, and so on. We have the certification like CE, FCC, those ISO 9001 and 3C like in China. So also we have more than 20 products with patent. With the Golden Tribe Award, and also reliable brand of China, That's the cooperation partner of China International High Technology Achievement Fail, China Security Industry Outstanding Nation Brand. And anyway, like this kind of products and about our company, you can contact with us and log in our website or global sources. And you can see our this is our and I mean the golden the golden prize like this. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh my God, something happened.
Are you okay?
Here, but it's a very big one. Sorry. Hope I'm not scared, you guys.
I hope it didn't break.
Okay.
So what exactly is this golden prize?
It's golden prize. Like in China, we are the top supplier of security. So they got some like the supplier in CPS is kind of a security fair. They give us top 3. That's the supplier of China. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So yeah, it's really good that you specialize in security products, and you've developed so many your own designs, and you're really the specialist. So, Alice, do you want me to play the video now of your
Yes,
company?
sure.
Yeah?
Thanks.
Okay, let's do
Yeah.
that. So let's take a video, take a look at this video, which is about their company.
Sure. Ê, sao cái mảnh miệng nó có điện hay gì? Sao cái mảnh miệng?
So that's your office over there.
Yes.
And you're based in Shenzhen, right?
Yes, we're based in Shenzhen.
So what sort of R&D staff do you have? How many R&D staff do you have, and what sort of R&D capability do you have?
About 35.
Okay. And how many production staff do you have?
200 people in. Yes. We have one factory in Dongguan. The office in Shenzhen.
So are all of your products made in-house, or do you also outsource some products?
Yes, that has some for outdoor, like the outdoor siren, like this, because this is the indoor siren. We have an outdoor siren waterproof, and also have some alarm also waterproof because they need to use in the bathroom, so they also can use in outside as well if you want.
Okay. And what kind of QC processes do you have in your factory for quality control? What exactly do you do?
We use the you mean the quality?
Yeah, quality control.
Quality control. We use the some international control way, like a 5S. Is that a kind of a 5S called in international? Yeah.
Okay. Right. So Alice, do you also want to talk about your products and maybe tell us about some of the new products that you have launched?
Yes, sure. And today I want to introduce for some series. I mean 3 series of products. First is kind of Wi-Fi alarm, and the second is first is a Wi-Fi alarm piece. So that works with one whole 4 keys. And the second, I will introduce with the single Wi-Fi alarm, so that you can use a signal, so no need to separate devices. And the third, I want to show you it works around no need Wi-Fi, no need other like GSM, no need other things. So I want to introduce 3 kind of products. So first one, I want to show you the Wi-Fi alarm piece. So anyway, this is also our key product of alarm. So you see, this is the alarms. Also, it with a siren inside. So it's with the siren and the lights on. Okay, you can see this one. And it works with some sub devices like the door sensor. It must work with door sensor and the motion sensor. This is a motion sensor. And also remote, okay? So, the alarm host is with Wi-Fi Connect app. So this is works with the application. So whenever the sub device like the door sensor, the door is opened, and the host will get the signal and send the alarm push to the mobile. So the user will get the push. So they will get the notification and they will know what happened in their house. So they will go and check the living room if someone moving in the living room, because this is the motion detector. So anyone in the house and they are moving, intruder moving, and then this will send a signal to alarm panel. Panel will send a notification someone moving in your room. And when the door is open, it will send you message like pushing someone open your kitchen door. So you will see there are someone intruder illegal. So this is the first one, but some of the clients said, oh, this is a Wi-Fi alarm, and so what if Wi-Fi dead or Wi-Fi disconnected, power off, so Wi-Fi will not work. So we got the second generation. So this one is another alarm, okay? So this alarm actually based on the Wi-Fi function, as I mentioned, is have one extra function. It can send the SMS and the call. So whenever happens, it can send you the notification by Wi-Fi, and also it will send a message to you by the SMS, because you need to insert one SIM card inside. It will cost you, so you will get a call. So even the Wi-Fi that not works, so you will get a call and then you will know what happened. So
Okay,
you
yeah,
can,
that's very useful. So you have Wi-Fi and GSM, so it works on
yeah,
both.
yes.
Okay.
So there are some of other clients that, okay, but in Italian, because we have some Italian like Europe guys, and they said, Europe women, they buy by eyes. They will say, oh, it's not beautiful. I want it looks better and the easy make setting. It looks plain. I mean, so no discreet and not like a mobile, and we cannot make a setting. So we got another generation. So this is the one. This is the one with display. Okay, so it's with the color display. It's very good and a nice and beautiful thing. So you can see.
Yeah.
So you can make the setting by the button, and you can make the setting by this menu. And here is with the colorful display. So this even with 4G. So in some Europe and in some place they not use GSM anymore. So they said I only have the 4G SIM card and now cannot buy 2G anymore. So you can choose this one with 4G. So this is the third generation. So also
So
we have
what all?
all of this outcase.
Yeah.
The looking is our package. Yeah.
Oh, what all functions does that have? I see a lot of functions on the panel there. So can you tell us like what are some of the functionalities?
Okay, the function actually you can make the setting like you can save the number like your number inside. So if my number here and I can 1, 2, 3 and any number of mine, and then because actually the same function as others, it works with the door sensor and the motion detector. So whenever your door opens, and this one will get siren sound, and also it will cost you because you make the setting here like your phone number saved in the alarm panel. So this is going to cost you, and also this you can disarm and arm, like this is arm like the key. So like the car when you come and you arm, right? Disarm, arm and disarm, just like you are the host, you are the user. So you before you enter your own house, you will arm and disarm. So this one also can arm and disarm by password. You need to enter password before you come, because you have a 10 seconds to disarm. So it won't alarm if yourself come home. So actually, this have a SOS function. This even can make it like a telephone, because now you cannot find your mobile. You can use this one, call your mobile, and you can find it. Or you can call others if you have some emergency you want to call. So this can like a telephone. Okay, so this is arm. This is the home arm. The home arm means that when you're at home in the night, you don't want some sensor, sub device in home, in house, not alarm, but out house will alarm. So this in home arm means that beside the house that will alarm, inside the house that not alarm. So this is home arm function. It's very interesting, and many customers like it. We sell very good in Europe.
And what's the MOQ for this?
Our MOQ actually for 300 pieces, okay, and for the customized, we need 1,000 for customized package. Like you want to have your own package like this is our own package. But if you want your own package, you can make your own design, the menu translated to Spanish, Italian, or others we can make for you at the local print.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So Alice, should I also play the second video that you had sent to me now for the products?
Yes, but I have a second series number still not issued yet.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah. So I told you first one I want to introduce is alarm keys. So they work together. But second, I want to introduce is a signal alarm system. So they work around. So just like I told you the door sense like this, they need to work with the alarm panel. So this is send a signal to the panel. Panel will give the push. But now I want to tell you we have something very simple and easy door sensor. So this is the one with the door sensor, Wi-Fi door sensor. So you just need to buy one door sensor. This inside with the Wi-Fi module. So when the door open or when the door closed, this will give the push. And also we got the Wi-Fi motion detector. So you can install this one in any angle of your room, and someone enter, this will have motion detector. It's very easy to install, because if you just stick on the wall, and then this one with the magnet. So just here. It's very easy for the ladies. And also next we have this is the motion detector also. So, but it is very good for the pet family. So they have pets in the home, and then this is a pet immune motion detector. So whenever the pet or the cat or the dog moving, and they will know, oh, this is a pet, this is not sent there, and you activate motion notification, so they know you are safe, just a pet. So here is another one, is the steering motion detector. So you install on the steering. It's all the Wi-Fi part. It's only you can install one, it's enough, and so they can send you notification whenever something happens. Also, the Wi-Fi smoke detector, Wi-Fi gas detector we also have today. I'm not bring here. So this is the second generation. I mean, just second series of products I want to show.
Right.
Okay.
And so for these motion detectors, do they also can they also like turn on lights? Can they also be, like if you want to turn on the light using motion detection in a room, is that also possible with these motion detectors?
Yes, it's a very good question, because current our Wi-Fi solution, we use the Tuya Wi-Fi solution. So Tuya company, they are the one of the smart home, they gather all the supplies together. So we not sell the lights, we not sell the bulbs, but we can connect together. So you can use the Wi-Fi. We have the app. You can use the Wi-Fi and then connect this motion detector with your other bulb and the other lights. So when motion, the lights will on. So they can connect together. When the door is opened, the cameras on. So they can link together and work together with the solution. So the Wi-Fi solution, we use Tuya Smart Life. That one, I think they are very popular now, and I think most of Europe and American market, they already sell very good.
Okay, yeah. So we have a question from Atif Khan. He's asking, can we increase the number of door sensors or any other sensors later on, and keeping adding to the same panel or not?
Yes, sure. They can. Next mean they can add 100 pieces door sensor or PIR sensor. Or the sub device max mean is 100 pieces. So you can add more, of course.
Okay, so you can add up to 100 sensors. And Tim is saying a lot of thanks to all the speakers. Thank you so much, Tim. And Tim, I just want to tell you that we've received your email about the presentation slides. So we will be sending out all the presentation slides to all of the registrants very soon. So just look out for your email. You should receive it tomorrow. So after the summit finishes, we'll be sending out all of the information to all of the registrants. And I think someone is asking, will this video be available in YouTube or the Global Sources website for a while, or how long? So yes, this video, like all of the videos, are going to be available on YouTube, Facebook, and also on LinkedIn forever. We're not going to take them down. So you can come back to the videos and watch them again anytime. Okay, Alice, let's keep going here. And is there one more product that you wanted to show? One more series?
Yes, sure. Last one. Okay.
Yeah.
This is our third item I want to show you. Is no need Wi-Fi, no need GSM, and no need any others. You just record your voice inside, and then you can display. So you also can work with door sensor, of course. So it works with here when the door opens. Before you record your voice, this door you use for the kitchen, okay, kitchen window. So you record the kitchen window for this door. So this is 1, 2, 3 for setting, okay? So when someone break your kitchen window, so this you will hear. When you're sleeping, you will put on the desk beside your cabinet, and then you will hear the kitchen door open, the kitchen door open, the kitchen door open. Keep it display, and then you will, when you sleep, you hear, oh, I know the kitchen door opened by someone. So that's also have some button, I mean the doorbell. So doorbell button you can install in front door. So when your guest come press, and this will display, okay, front door have a guest come, front door have a guest come. Because maybe your house have one or two, it's very big house and you cannot hear. So this will you can keep beside you, just like our phone, and then this will keep display. Okay, so you know you have back front, maybe in front door, so you will know which door have the guest. You just go and open, check if your guest or if the delivery guy. So this is you can record your voice in, and also you have a 32 kind of music to choose. So this is we call the voice remind alarm, because it also can make the like the sport alarm system, because it also have the siren inside. So it's
Right.
kind of.
So what's the distance? Because there's no Wi-Fi or any other or GSM. So what's the distance that it can operate?
Okay, so all of our alarm gateway, the hub with the subject ones, they connected by the RF433 megahertz, like a kind of radio. So that maximum distance is 100 meters. Also, if your house is enough big enough, and you can add the signal repeater. So like the Wi-Fi, so you have the signal repeater, so they can make 100 meters again. So we have this kind of sport accessories as well.
Okay, that is very useful. Okay, so are there any other products, Alice, or should we play the video?
Okay, yes, you can play the video, because I finished some kind of products for sure today. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to play the video now.
Alexa, turn on the TV.
We're trying to pull off something.
Alexa, home arm. Alexa, sleeping mode.
Alexa, morning mode.
There we go. So that was the video about Shenzhen Wolfguard's product range, very specialized in security systems. So guys watching, if you have any questions for Alice, you can type them in the comments now. Otherwise, take a look at their website, globalsources.com/wolfguard.co. You can see the entire range of their products, and you can also send an inquiry directly to Alice to ask any questions that you might have about their products. Well, Alice, thank you so much for your time today. It was really nice seeing your products, and wish you all the very best.
Yeah.
Okay. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, we come to the end of session 3 of the Global Sources Virtual Summit. And I just want to remind you to register for the summit. If you haven't already done so, head over to globalsources.com/summit and register there. It just takes a couple of seconds. And once you register, you will receive the agenda of the summit, and you'll also be able to receive the replays and all of the presentations, the slides that speakers have been presenting over here. You'll be able to receive all of them via email after the summit. And we're going to be back for the 4th session of the summit later today. So 8 p.m. Hong Kong time, we're going to be back live again on the Global Sources YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn channels. If you're in the US, then that's going to be 8 a.m. tomorrow. So we will see you then. Have fun and take care. Bye-bye.